Well. What's the deal, YouTube? It is Craig Harris, the black man in the green chair with the big green drink. And I am back with a video here about E3, what happened yesterday, and what happened with the Bethesda conference that started at midnight Eastern time yesterday. But let me give a big shout out yesterday to everybody that participated. Jay Fonzarelli, Porter Rock 77, just big on 60 frames, no lag. Great time over there. Thank you guys for hanging out in that chat room with us and chopping it up. Give a big shout out here to PlayStation News Now or Foxy Games UK over there on the Gamer Couch. Shout out to everybody that popped in over there. So Gamer Lives Matter. One Stop for Gamers popped in over there. Just good old-fashioned talking on those podcasts. And finally, let me give a big shout-out here to Cal Berg, formerly Gamers United, and Kratos, who came in late last night. And we batted cleanup for everybody, and hopefully everybody enjoyed all those podcasts, and hopefully everybody enjoyed E3, starting with the EA conference on Friday and the games that we saw. So also shout out to the people in the chat. Shout out to the people who will listen to this later. Appreciate the subs, new subs and old subs. So also big shout out here to Jimmy B Gaming, who predicted the name of the Xbox. He said Xbox X. And so shout out to him. And you all go check out his content. And shout out to Weapon Wheel, because those guys did a great job. They were up late last night, keeping everybody entertained on their thoughts on what was going on. So that's a guilty pleasure podcast for me. So, but fun to listen to, very informative. So big shout out to everybody out there. So let me go ahead and get into it. I'll go ahead and start probably with the Bethesda conference, because people got to understand that damn thing was at midnight on over here on the East Coast on our time. But I'll go through these real fast. They did show some games that I was interested in. They showed Quake Champions, and which I thought they're ginning that up. I think that's part of the I think that may be part of the what do they call the E-circuit this year, possibly. They may get into that. Yeah, shout out to you, Savage Uger. Yeah, the gaming couch was good, I thought, yesterday. What up there, Guardia Legends? So, yeah, they showed Quake Champions, which was fine. I mean, it's good to see Quake always around. Wolfenstein 2, which for me, Wolfenstein has been around for a long time. So the fact that they're still making those games and those games are still relevant, fun. Wolfenstein was on the Commodore 64. You all know my gaming history. I had that on Commodore 64 a long ass time ago. So, yeah. So they showed the VR for Fallout and Doom yesterday, which the VR, it did look seamless. It did show you walking around, at least on Fallout 4. It shows you transversing in that world, things like that. So it seemed like a pretty good mod. I mean, again, I'm trying to get this PC done, and then I may go back into VR. There's a lot of hardware, things like that. So, and like I said, I am a man of limited means, but hey, look, I still want to bring everybody the entertainment. So mods will still be free, allegedly. One of the cool things about the Bethesda software is that you can go in and mod it. So you'll see everything on these games. You may see Supergirl in Skyrim or something like that. And speaking of Skyrim, they showed it on the Switch. Now I don't know how many people are going to go buy it, but nevertheless, it's on there. Skyrim, I like Skyrim. I know I'm in the minority. Most people didn't like Skyrim. They didn't like the load times. I didn't like the load times either. Hopefully, they do something to make it a little more seamless. But we'll have to wait and see. The big announcement, besides Wolfenstein, was Evil Within 2. Now, if you're and you do have to allegedly play Evil Within 1 in order to really get this. I don't know about this. I never played Evil Within. Those aren't my type of games. But anybody who played them want to tell me how they're like this, direct message me on Twitter or something like that, because it may be something I look into. Any game that gets a sequel is worth looking into because they're supporting that brand. And finally, Dishonored 2, which does come out in September, and which comes out in September. Well, let me go back to the Skyrim on Switch. They showed a Link in Skyrim, so I don't know if that's a mod or if that's something that you may actually see, that you can create that character in Skyrim. So on the Switch, and I think that'd be cool if you can, to put him in that world and see how he does against the thing. So EJ saying the digital, it's crazy. So the digital press conference, developer digital, is that what you mean? I figured that was going to be a good press conference, so I need to really be watching that, honestly. I don't have it on, though. But like I said, Dishonored is a prequel. It looked cool as hell, so showed a trailer for that. So hopefully I look into that, because I did like both of the Dishonoreds, but this one is a prequel, so we'll get to kind of see how things ended up where they are. But nevertheless, that's how the Bethesda conference went. I did enjoy the Bethesda conference. A lot of people said it was trash. So yeah, we have to wait and see exactly what what they come out with. So yeah, they're still. I'm gonna get into the whole Microsoft thing. The damage control is ridiculous at this point. So, but I'll get into that here. Let me move into the Witcher 3 patch has been confirmed. I know CD Projekt Red said that going to do it, but they have confirmed both a Pro patch and a Scorpio patch, and I personally think that's okay. I mean, The Witcher came out in 2015, so once it's patched, and it'll be patched by the end of this year, more than likely. It's I don't know if you're going to go back and play it. So, and all you're hearing now, and I'm gonna get into this, is that you're hearing 4K textures, and what they have and what their Witcher is going to be like. And again, it's going to look great no matter what. So, and that's why I'm really trying to get people to understand is it's going to be a negligible difference. Okay, it's going to look a little bit different, but not that much different. Yeah, Savage. Pro's getting the patch. Yeah, everybody's getting the patch. It's going to look, more than likely, because of the power of the Scorpio, it's going to look more like the PC version, but it's not like the version on the Pro, because the Pro, really, the only thing they did on the Pro is that they were able to get it where the load times between the city and the forest and things like that, the load time is shorter. So yeah, it's that's as far as Witcher. But as far as The Witcher, to me, already looked outstanding, and that was playing it on a 1080p TV. And of course, when you put it on a 4K TV, once again, appreciate you, Estrada. Once you start doing that, you're getting an upscale, and this is why I tried to tell several people that you couldn't. You couldn't do that. The Splinter Cell thing was a rumor, and the Sega partnership they're building an emulator first. So they just didn't announce it at E3, but they are building a Sega emulator, Brian. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and give me that L, that was a prediction. But yeah, I'll take that L. But a lot of people got that wrong. But yeah, I'm moving to that more as I'm going to the press conference. But as far as the Witcher 3 patch, yeah, that's a real thing that's been reported by CD Projekt Red. And again, like I've said to you all, I try not to report stuff on the 100 level unless it's sourced through multiple sources. So, but that was the Bethesda conference. I mean, we got Quake Champions, we got Wolfenstein, Fallout. We got mods will still be free. Some people thought they were going to be paid with mods. I'm not for sure how that worked, but nevertheless, mods are still going to be coming. Skyrim on the Switch with Link possibly. So, and then let's see, Dishonored is a prequel, which still looks fantastic. and Evil Within 2. So to me, that's a good lineup, considering that's one company that's doing that. So, but yeah, and then the Witcher update, yeah, that's 100% real. Hold on, let me see. Somebody is calling my phone, so let me step away real fast. Okay. No, don't need any of that. It's people leaving messages. So, all right, here we go. So let me get back into it. So yeah, Wolfenstein did look good, folks. And again, I'm a fan of Wolfenstein. Like I said, I've been playing it since the Commodore 64. If you haven't played it, that was Call of Duty. That was Medal of Honor. Before you all got those games, we had Wolfenstein back in the day. That's why I've tried to say to you guys, the stuff that you guys are playing, I've already played it. That's what I mean by that. There's no diss on what you guys are playing. It's just it's already been done. But yeah, Wolfenstein, it's hard to explain. You can go back and look at it, but it's been around, like I said, since the 80s. And a game that has lasted that long into, I'm close to 30 damn years, you need to give it its props. So let me move into the let's move into the Microsoft press conference, which by all indications, and it's hard to poll everybody because you can't, but by all indications, the mood from the major Xbox guys, the mood overall is that they're not happy with this press conference. I'm not here to say that the press conference was bad. That's a matter of opinion. If you liked it, that's all that counts. But let me compare this to something. And I had a conversation this morning with somebody. I don't know if you guys remember, but when George Lucas in 1995-96 announced there was going to be another Star Wars movie, there was going to be 3 more. I'm talking about the prequels, episode 1, 2, and 3. Everybody in the Star Wars community they just went off the wall. They were like, this is great. We're going to see this. We're going to see that. And people started speculating. Now, this is before the internet really took off. So you had to read like TV Guide and you had to watch Entertainment Tonight just to try to get information. There was no things like Collider Video or Popcorn Movie Talk that's online now that you could get inside information from. My point is that a fever pitch took over for episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And when The Phantom Menace came out, Star Wars is all we saw. We didn't care about the story. We didn't care about the characters. We didn't care that it was going to be mostly digital. And again, so shout out to that. But you all know if there was no Jar Jar Binks, there would have been no Gollum. And Andy Serkis would not have gotten to where he is in his career. But nevertheless, that's for something different. That's for something different. But my point to you guys is that so Star Wars comes out and episode 1, it's disappointing. It's flat out disappointing. Again, I'm not here to say it was good or bad. It had good action, but it was disappointing. So what the Star Wars fanboys did is they started talking about the stuff that they liked more. Just like the Darth Maul having a double-bladed lightsaber, and did such and such do a good job playing Ewan McGregor? Did he do a good job being Obi-Wan Kenobi? And that's on and on and on. And if you parallel that to this press conference yesterday, these same Xbox fanboys are now literally this 4 hours before the conference started talking about true 4K and all this stuff. They're now trying to say shit like, these are some of the stuff I saw on Twitter. And I'm not going to say nobody's name, so they ain't got to worry about nothing. So just I saw stuff like, don't say that Microsoft isn't supporting their system with games. Oh, what happened to True 4K? So you're not hearing that this morning. You've had major Xbox guys. I'm talking about major channels that are quitting the brand. They're not going to cover it anymore. Now, one guy that announced it, I'll just tell you all this, and shout out to One Stop for Gamers. His moniker is he's the face of Xbox, and he flat said yesterday he was done with them. I mean, this is a guy that has bought anywhere from 3 to 5 Xboxes. You know, he supported the brand is my point. He's bought the new games. He's bought the joysticks. He has supported the brand. He's done with them. I mean, that's big news. You got another guy who threw his Xbox remote control across the screen on his podcast. Now, I know what people are saying. Well, Microsoft already sold it. So, Microsoft sold it. So, you bought it. So Microsoft doesn't care. And you're right about that. If that's your thing, you are 100% right about that. But my point is that you got major guys disappointed with the brand. Well, that's just it, EJ. Some of these guys are not Xbox. I mean, but they're disappointed with the press conference. So, I'm not trying. That's why I'm not trying to come down on them. So yeah, shout out to everybody who said $4.99 because I predicted $4.49 because that was the placeholder on the Spanish website that I sourced. So, but you got cats out there saying this shit now. You've got, all right. Another thing you can ask yourself, if the Microsoft press conference was everything that these fanboys wanted it to be, why did you have Xbox podcast damage controlling yesterday? Okay. I mean, these are the same guys who were saying stuff like, it's easy to do 4K native on games like this and games like that. And now most of the games that are going to be on this system until next year. Now, granted, it's not launching until November, but until the foreseeable future, it's either going to be patched, which means they're not native 4K, or I don't know if you guys caught this yesterday where it would say enhanced graphics on Xbox X. Enhanced means in order for it to get to 2160p, it's going to be sparse render. And that was 80% of the games yesterday. 80%. They showed hardly absolutely no exclusive titles at all. Now, they did show some exclusives. Let's keep it real. And I don't know, but a lot of these games are going to either be on another console or they're going to be available on your PC. So, and again, you guys have got to start asking yourselves when I'm telling you guys things like you have QHD, you've got things that are already ultra, are enhanced. I mean, they're enhanced ultra gaming. That's what people are going for. I mean, and I tried to tell people this, and I tried to tell everybody this. 10% of the United States has a 4K television. Yet these guys are trying to sell you on the fact that everybody's going to run out and buy one because of this system coming out. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. If you have an Xbox One S or an Xbox Elite or an original Xbox, what did you see yesterday that was going to move you over? I mean, you didn't see anything that was going to move you over to that system. All those games they showed, you can either play on the PlayStation at enhanced, just like they were showing on that conference, or you can play it on your regular Xbox. And I'm trying to tell people, your Xbox One S combined with your 4K television, it's going to take the same damn game and it's going to upscale it to 2160p. And you guys have got to quit listening to these numbnuts that don't understand this technology. They don't understand how this crap works. They just don't get it. They think that Digital Foundry, this is something else I saw on Twitter this morning. One cat told somebody else, we just need to keep reminding the Sony people that we have the power now. Okay, but you got no games. They showed one game yesterday at that press conference that was 4K native 60, and it was a racing game. And granted, the game looks stunning. I mean, you can't take nothing away from it. But why show a Porsche on stage? If I buy the Scorpio, do they throw in the Porsche? I mean, the press conference was overall disappointing. I'm not here to say they didn't have stuff that I wanted, But when you're talking about, see, you got to look at their play on words. So I've told you about the enhanced stuff. Now go back and watch the press conference and tell me how many games you saw that were going to be UHD, which is native, or enhanced, because it's almost 3-1. You know, almost 3-1. All right, see, EJ makes a good point. These same numbnuts in the Xbox community used to just blast PlayStation. Y'all got no AAA exclusives. Now these are the same guys running around. What are they saying now? Well, exclusive games don't matter because they don't sell. Fuck out of here with your bullshit. It's bullshit. Exclusive games get people to buy your console. If I'm already able to buy the console and buy the same game on a competing console, there's no reason for me to go buy a new console. None whatsoever. You know, now look, we got release dates for Cuphead, which I think is good, considering that they showed Cuphead, what, like 3 years ago? Or maybe 2 to 3 years ago. And again, these are the same cats running around saying Sony shows you games and then takes 1 to 2 years to get them to you. Well, what the hell is Cuphead then? You see what I'm saying? What the hell? Now, look, we got a release date on it, and that's the main thing as a gamer. That's what we should be happy about, and I'm happy about that. So I don't need a Scorpio or Xbox X to play Cuphead. I can play it on my Xbox One S and then upscale it to 2160p on my television. That's what these cats don't understand. So they are literally saying it. I'm just going to go by some of the statements I remember. I had somebody say yesterday, I saw somebody say this on my timeline, that Digital Foundry will now come out and do comparisons, and it will justify the purchase of this system. Nah, bitch, that ain't the way consumers work. If I want it, I'll buy it. I don't need Digital Foundry to justify it for me. And once again, you got to understand, they think that you're going to get a 1080p versus 900p argument. They don't understand that 900p is 40% less pixel count than a 1080p full HD picture. Even though I tried to sit here and tell them that, and shout out to Kratos, he tried to tell you guys that. Nobody would fucking listen. Now you have a console coming out at $500,000 that I'm telling you right now, if you don't have a 4K TV, the average 4K TV is $438 in the United States. You're going to be dropping close to damn near $900 to get this damn thing. Why don't you go build a PC that just does the exact same thing? It gives you more options. You want to play 1440p 60, you can play it. You want to play 1080p open frame rate, you can. If you get a big enough engine for your PC, you can go 4K unlimited. The hell these people talking about? So, I mean, it's bullshit after bullshit with these guys. And I get why they were excited, but when you're having podcasts, the Xbox podcast, when you got cats, again, throwing the joystick around, when you got cats quitting the brand, saying they're finished with them, this console, let me tell you this, any dumbass that goes out and early adopts this console, I'll come and I'll shoot you in your own goddamn kitchen. I'll do it. You better wait your ass off until spring of 18 and get the console. I guarantee you this console is going to drop in price in the first 6 months. Guarantee you. It will drop prices. Nobody's going to adopt this shit early. The hell you talking about? So, you know, it's them. It's these guys who ran around and said, the reason why people tweeted me, how come you put the Ryzen chip in your thing now? You got rid of the Black Panther because the Black Panther movie's coming out. Well, I can update the Black Panther thing because of the trailer, which is lit. I don't care what anybody says. That teaser trailer the other night was fantastic. But the Ryzen chip is up there because you all got lied to by these Jack Reachers. But that's the Ryzen chip right there. It is not in the Xbox, okay? What happened to 4K 60 uncompromised? Assassin's Creed 4K 30. Now, I'm happy with 4K. I did not sit here a couple days ago and say, what 4K 30 is fine with me. I don't have an issue with it. If you want to build a PC and do 4K, you can get the I think, help me out here, Savage Yuga. Is it the AMD R486 or 480? It does 4K 30. That, what I just told you, it costs $192 to put that into your computer. Are you going to go buy that, or are you going to spend $500,000 on this system? So, I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, like Brian's here saying, console is sitting at $800. That's before you go out and buy the VR for it, which, I mean, they're going to be showing that today on the floor. And the Vive VR and the Oculus VR run $500 and like $700 respectively. I mean, the fuck are you all doing? You know, I sat here and I said to you guys, hey, look, well, what about what about we had Widowmaker, this damage controlling this shit. Now, I mean, where's he at? You know, there's no excuse for what we saw yesterday. The reason there's people there, they are excited about it. I'm excited about the technology that's coming out, but don't sit up there and piss in my face and then say it's raining. You guys got owned. Yeah, so Savage Yuga said the 480 and the 580. I don't know why you guys don't go do that. You can still keep your Xbox One joystick. It works fine with your PC. Okay? It works fine with your PC. So it is what it is. But let's go down this. Let's look at some of the good things. Fully capable or compatibility with all Xbox games. So that already eliminates one reason why I should get the console. It is very small, so it's a technical achievement how something that small is this powerful. It's like a baby that poops his pants. It's like, how can something that small make a smell that bad? Trust me, you'll be like, oh. And ultimately, the backwards compatibility with the OG Xbox games. But ask yourself this: why the hell did they go ahead and why they got more excited yesterday based on crowd response to being able to play games back from 2002? So, you know, y'all gonna have to wait. I'm not done on this yet, but yeah, I'll send you one. I'll just put it in the description. But we'll go ahead and start this now. Forza 7, it looked fantastic. Let's just give it props, okay? It looked fantastic. It was one of the best looking games I've ever seen. So I put that in the category with that other Xbox game that they had, Rise Son of Rome. So they start good, but then they start effing up. Metro is a multi-plat game. Okay, Assassin's Creed, which I'm going to buy, it's running 4K 30, but it's not going to run 4K native 30. I mean, even Ubisoft said they don't know if they can get it to native, but I don't care about that. It's going to be 4K 30. So, so I can address Xbox lies. So, I mean, I don't know if they lied as much as they are just kind of mincing words. So, you know, they're playing with words and stuff like that. Now, these other games, you guys got to understand, a lot of these games are already on PC. One advantage that Scorpio does have is that it can move games from PC into their ecosystem. So, which by the way, I don't have a problem with, you know. So, but you know, you got these cats saying, well, Assassin's Creed was running on and this just came in this morning. The game, I don't know if it was Metro. Yeah, Metro was running on a PC, but because of so shout out to the people that tweeted, that sent that to me, but try to understand it's going to be optimized for every system. So, but what we saw running was on a PC, but the Scorpio version is going to look similar to that, plus or minus a few things, you know, so not the end of the world. So, but we'll keep moving on. Deep Rock, I mean, you know, State of Decay is pushed back to 2018. Okay, that's fine. It's better than a cancellation, but it's disappointing. Darwin looked like straight garbage. Trash. Minecraft. All right, Minecraft's the most popular game in the world. I don't know if people know that. The fact they can all play together, I think that's a good idea. But are you going to buy that? No. you know, but Microsoft owns that IP, so of course it's going to get its time to shine. Other games that I thought looked interesting, but it's not going to, again, move me off my Xbox One S was the Black Desert. That looked pretty cool, but again, you know, I don't need an Xbox Scorpio to play that game. Last night, that looked okay. I don't need the Scorpio. So the only game that in Cold Vein, I think it's called Cold Vein, was looked like Neo to me. So, which like Neo to me. But all right, guys, I'll go ahead and bring you all on. But let me finish this. Cuphead is coming out in September. Crackdown November, which people even shout out. I'll call this guy because he's, you know, Tim Dog is disappointed with the Crackdown stuff. Now, with that said, Microsoft's E3 is not over, and they may show more stuff today because they're going to have to do something to counter what Sony is going to do. And that's something I really wanted to get into, but I'll go ahead and bring you guys on real quick. Ori and the Blind Forest did look really good. I mean, I'm not here to say that it didn't. Shadow of War, again, is a multi-plat. Life is Strange is a multi-plat. I'm not here to say that you're not going to buy it, but it's a multi-plat. But, you know, is this enough to move you in this Xbox ecosystem? Anthem is not coming out for 2 goddamn years. It ain't coming up for 2 years. What's up, J-Dub? There's about to be a debate breakout here, I think. Let me make sure this is the right thing. That might be the wrong link. I am going to moderate it, and if it starts getting out of control, I will cut both you all off. I'll let it go a little bit. I know it's got to go a little bit. I know there's frustration out there, folks. So now, who wants to confront the other person? Because they're the ones that have to go first. That's all I need to know. So, well, hey, shout out to J-Dub. I just saw you, brother. So, oh, you took off today? Damn, man. Oh, J-Dub, get on in here, brother, if you can. There's the link. That link is for J-Dub, if he can get in. Cycle Gamer, if he can get in here. And then Andrew, get on in here. I may need Kratos to come and do backup. Yeah, get on here, J-Dub. So, oh, man. And that is why you sub here, because who knows what's going to happen in this zoo called Craig's Corner. So, all right, just waiting on everybody to get here. But let me jump to the but look, overall, I'm disappointed overall with the press conference. I'm not, and so is the Xbox community. Fuck everything I just said. The Xbox community is disappointed. You know it's bad when Kid Smooth is disappointed. Okay, so it is what it is. It's disappointing. $4.99, in my opinion, way the hell too much. I'm not, you know, if you have a 1080p TV, you will get super sampling, down sampling. That does help you out a little bit, but not enough. Not enough to justify a $500 purchase. You know, especially if Sony reduces the price. So, but I ain't never seen this much damage control since, I'm trying to think, maybe since Batman versus Superman. Those DC fanboys are just in outright DM me the link. I put it in the chat.
Craig, can you hear me?
But yeah, I can hear you. I got to get J-Dub in here real quick. Craig, I got to DM him. Hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yep.
Yeah. Let me find J-Dub here. Let me paste it. All right, there we go.
Andrew, get your ass in here. I ain't got all goddamn day.
Bro, you on lunch or something, Psych? Or did you get the day off too?
No, I gotta get in about an hour or so. But it's a 35-minute drive, so, or 30-minute drive.
Oh, all right. So, yeah, even Randall Thor was a little bit disappointed. Yeah, I'm not here to say that people look. I'm gonna tell you right now, if I had heard nothing but all the stuff these guys were saying for the last year and a half or year, I would be disappointed too. So, and to me, the fact that they're damage controlling shows a disappointment. So,
what's up?
What's going on, man? We got J-Dub and Psycho Gamer in here. We're just waiting on Andrew to jump in here, I guess, because not unless he was busy doing something else. So
No,
I saw what you all were
saying.
saying.
You got time right now to address me for some reason. So
okay,
let's get it in right now.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Waiting on him. Well, let me do this real fast. The people the Mass Effect channels, they're already pretty much shutting down. They're moving on to as Anthem, and they're already speculating hard about that. But I saw one guy today say that on his channel a change is needed. I saw another person just literally speculating hard about Anthem. So they're already starting up again. And one guy did say he took his channel, he didn't podcast because of the reception Mass Effect Andromeda got. So I'm just letting people know that people were pissed about those people because he said people pretty much ran him off of YouTube because of stuff he was saying. Like, well, damn, you lied. I mean, of course we gonna call you out on it. So,
but he lied about what?
Okay, the people who had like these dedicated Mass Effect channels, they got a lot of them, not all of them, got an invite, a personal invite, round trip ticket to go out to San Francisco where the game was at so that they could play it. Like this is 2 weeks before the unveil, before the big unveil, whatever you want to call it. And then they came back on all their channels and they lied. All of them, and it's like, it looks like there was, I told the guy, it looks like quid pro quo because I could see the problems with it when they were showing the NVIDIA build and then they were showing the Xbox One build. I'm like, I can see the problems with it. How come you all couldn't see the problems? Yeah, Andrew Wilkins. I'll put the link back up in here if you didn't see it, brother. But we're pretty much here waiting on you. So he may not have seen the link.
Psycho, what you think about? What did you think about the conference?
I'm gonna save it until this motherfucker get on
here. Let me go to the Sony predictions. Now, Brian Stalbert saying that there's a November rumor of God of War. If that's true, that November is packed. I mean, that gives you Crackdown. That gives you friggin', I think, Metro Exodus. I can't remember when that's releasing, but and then the Xbox system releases in November. So.
Yeah. So. Keep in mind, just Craig. As of yesterday, the guys over at Digital Polyphony said that to make sure you check out the pre-PlayStation show because they're going to be sharing some really good news. I'm assuming regarding its GT Sport.
Okay, well maybe we'll get a release date.
Yeah, I'm thinking now. I'm just going out on a limb here. I'm thinking this shit is going to drop next week.
Oh, GT Sport?
GT Sport, yeah.
You think so? Really?
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you why. Okay. That's because today, that direct drive steering wheel from Thrustmaster, the GT 700, or it's officially called GT TGT racing wheel, a very high-end racing wheel. They built it specifically for this game in mind. So, I have several racing rigs and stuff. So I have Fanatic and I have Thrustmaster. This is their first direct drive racing wheel. So this is a big deal when you talk to that game. That game is, 100% simulation. Mm-hmm. So being able to drive with that wheel is going to, it's as close as you're going to get to the real thing. So I'm thinking that they're going to not only just go ahead and finally reveal the release date for that wheel, but they're going to release date for that game. And I think it's going to be very soon. The game, remember, GT Sport was supposed to drop last year, last December. But I'm hearing that they had production problems with the wheel. And we all know that every Gran Turismo basically launches with a racing wheel.
Okay.
And so that would be the whole hold up behind this. And I'm pretty sure Sony wanted to, Digital Polyphony wanted to polish up the game in the meantime. So
I hope that game looks better than what I saw on Digital Foundry. I hope.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Okay, the footage I've seen, it looks spectacular. But I have seen footage that's underwhelming.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming whether you're looking at it in HD or what builds you're looking at, and stuff. But from what I saw, like, did you see the Porsche? The two Porsches racing on the Nürburgring? That was like the one of the reveal trailers.
Was it like kind of dark green color?
That was one red Porsche and one gray Porsche, and they were racing each other. That I mean, you can't get any more realistic than that.
The only thing I didn't like, well, there's a couple things I didn't like about it, but one major thing I didn't like was like how the cars get invisible when you get close to them. Or
now keep in mind they've only showed the online they've only showed the online racing, and the damage model in the online racing in the beta was not active, so they didn't have damage. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna disappear, but obviously once you get into the real game, keep in mind everybody, that's the beta. That's the beta. That's to test the online thing. They only give you several cars and several tracks. The damage model wasn't turned on. And a lot of other stuff. So I'm pretty sure once they debut the single player footage and stuff like that today, I'm pretty sure that'll be telling.
Okay. Now let me ask you: is their press conference? Is it at 8 Eastern or is it at 9? I thought it was at 9.
It starts at 5 p.m. Pacific, so that's 7 o'clock Central Time, and that's 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
All right, so I got to make a correction. I reported 9 o'clock, I think, last night, and so I'm wrong about that. So I don't know now if that's the presser, or is that the pre-show?
That's the pre-show. There's an hour pre-show, so yes, it's going to start at 9 o'clock your time.
Okay. Well, see, they're going.
But you got to tune in. Though. You got to tune into the pre-show because Sony's already saying that they're going to have a lot of shit to show on the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Because they're going up against the NBA Finals. I want to watch the NBA Finals.
Yeah, you got the finals, but you also got the Super Bowl of gaming coming. I mean, if it's any conference you don't want to miss, it's this one.
Shit.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree with you.
I can watch the highlights. I mean, goddamn. Come on.
What you do is,
I was up till 1 a.m. yesterday covering the Bethesda thing. I didn't do a podcast. I just did it. I thought they showed some games. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about Dishonored and the Kratos. What about that Fallout 4 VR? Did you see that? That's something you interested in getting?
Can't wait, man. I can't wait. I saw that game, and I've been knowing about it for a while now. It's coming out on PSVR. It's coming out on the Vive first, and then it's going to release on the Oculus. Also keep in mind the Doom VFR, or is it FVR? Oh yeah, FVR for effing VR. That's what it stands for. That's also coming on the PlayStation VR, the Oculus, and the Vive. So I'm glad to see some VR, getting its shine with some big blockbuster titles. It's about time. I think games like Farpoint and Resident Evil kind of show people, hey, look, these are the experiences going to be coming in the future. Now you got the Fallout and the Bethesda titles like Doom. And next up is Call of Duty, man. If we can get a Call of Duty mode, we already know that the Star Wars Battlefront 2 is going to be in VR just like the first one was. So,
Andrew over there taking notes.
Huh?
Andrew over there looking at whole videos, taking notes. And shit.
Well, no, he said that he was doing something. He'd be here shortly. So I told him, I said, well, you got to come on pretty quick because you're on break.
Man, my boy Andrew got to polish his J's, man. He's polishing his shoes real quick.
I'm going straight off the cuff, motherfucker.
I really want to hear your point of view as an Xbox guy, or what you thought. What you rate the game? What you rate the conference, the Microsoft conference?
I gotta wait, man.
I know, man. I know.
Gotta wait.
Well, shout out to Jimmy B Gaming. Shout out to him. He gave it a 7 yesterday, but then he dropped it to a 6 this morning. So
yeah, but he's coming from a PC perspective, though. Like, this is the thing too. And I was talking to somebody else about this, a PC gamer as well. Like, I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you own a capable PC, why are you even looking at the Xbox?
That's true.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me that these PC guys are coming out. Oh, I'm not getting it because of this. I'm not getting it because of this and that. Like, why are you even checking for it?
I'm gonna tell you why. As a PC gamer that game on consoles mostly, it's because that's where your friends are, man. Not all of your friends have high-end PCs. Some of them do, but at the same time, I'm able to game with you guys and everybody else on the PlayStation or the Xbox. So that's really the reason. Now,
if that's where your friends are, and that's where you then buy the fucking system. If that's where your friends are, and you want to play with your friends, that's what you should do.
You're right.
If you own a 4K, whatever, 8K PC, why are you even here? Like
it goes back. It's because not all your friends have an 8K.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it's easier for a guy to go out and spend $250 on a console than $3 grand on a PC rig.
Yeah.
So I'm selfish in that. So when I do play on my PC rig, it's single player games or my racing sims where I'm racing with all my friends that all have racing rigs, but not, that's a small list of people compared to the guys that I can play my racing games on the PlayStation or the Xbox, like Forza. So I got a million friends I can play Forza with, but I only have a handful of people I can play on my PC rig with. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and
a lot of that stuff is cross-play anyway, though. Like you look at Gears cross-play and Forza's cross-play. Both of the Forzas.
I'm here now. I'm here. The truth is in the building.
The truth. Please give us some truth.
Hey, Craig will tell you, I never sleep. I'm always a busy man, bro. I don't get no sleep. Craig will tell you.
What exactly is the disagreement on? What did Microsoft say? That's
No.
I know
Andrew said that Xbox fans or whatever people or fanboys, whatever you said, I can't remember exactly what you said. Xbox fans are always wrong, and I'm one of the main ones. And I'm one of the main ones. So tell me how I'm one of the main ones, and what was I wrong about? Just tell me, explain your
I'm gonna start off just like I was right about my $499 prediction. I've typed it in many comments. I will screenshot those for you. Just like I typed in people's comment section. Patriots will win the Super Bowl and it's fixed. It's video evidence it was fixed. Just like I typed that Boston and Cleveland will be in the Eastern Conference Finals in Xbox session. They say you're not a psychic. Yes, the fuck I am.
Andrew, you talking?
Listen.
Talking about what you.
I'm letting you know what kind of person you're dealing with. I don't do opinions. I do facts, and I'm never wrong. I haven't been wrong about one prediction about fans or games this year. Now I'm going into you and the rest of you Xbox dudes. Y'all all the same. That's why Xbox dudes don't listen.
That's
why Xbox. I'm talking to you, but you in the same elk because you have the same mindset as the rest of them.
Tell me what I was wrong about. Don't generalize.
What's wrong about this lie about media bias? The world has spoken. The Xbox isn't as good as the PlayStation.
What was I wrong?
You are wrong. You always talking about Microsoft. Used to be on Wiggy Podcast doing that all the time, bro. Making it seem like people just shit on Xbox. That's a lie.
What did I say that was wrong?
That's wrong. There is no media bias. You go with what's best and what's popular. That's not a bias. That's common sense.
That's bias within itself.
No, it's not. Everybody chooses Coke over RC Cola. That's not a bias because it's better. It tastes better.
Your job as a media person is to be objective and give the facts and give things what they are. Not say
that is a fact. PlayStation is better. That's a fact.
That's an opinion, brother.
That's a fact, bro. The word
is spoken. An opinion.
It's a fact. PlayStation do a better job at dealing with developers, and they do a better job of bringing games. That's a fact.
Listen to what you're saying.
I have a question. What exactly makes the PlayStation better?
Because how they treat developers, they let developers develop game, and how they treat this game. And Microsoft isn't serious in this gaming realm, bro. They playing with this damn thing. I wish Sega would have never failed. I wish they would have sent Peter Moore as an agent to come in Sega of America and then come back to work to Microsoft. A lot of people don't know about that. I know a lot about this gaming industry, bro. Microsoft, the reason why Microsoft is what they are, they don't take gaming serious.
Let me tell you something about life real quick. Okay? So just because I like Jordans and I think they're the best shoe doesn't mean that Craig, who likes Reebok, that doesn't mean that that Jordan is better because I think it's better. If Craig thinks that Adidas are better, then that's his opinion.
But most of you guys are lying. Most of you guys don't think that Xbox is better. Come on now, y'all be lying with that.
That isn't who said you said.
I'm not mentally retarded. I'm not an Xbox fan. I know when somebody lying to me.
You saying y'all. Talk to me. What you
I'm
saying?
talking to you because you're the one that's always in podcasts is wrong. Why you think you get into one stop? You draw the debate against one stop too. You're always wrong.
Again, what was I wrong about? You're not telling me what I'm wrong about.
You're wrong about this so-called people not treating Xbox fans and PlayStation fans won't buy an Xbox regardless of what. That's a lie.
I never said
the media. Everything. The media treat Xbox bad. They being honest. They did the same thing with PS3. That's what you do when you mess up. You listen. In life, you got to be like a parent. If somebody mess up, you put their foot on their neck till they get it right. Parents do the same thing with their children. Why should we look? Microsoft has murdered Africans and illegally dumped computer parts in Africa and endangering their environment. Listen. I'm giving you an example as why the world don't fuck with Microsoft. You didn't know that, now you learn something new. Notice how whenever people talk to me, I learn a new fact about life every 5 minutes. You wonder why people don't like Microsoft because they're bad for business.
You seem like you have something deeper, a deeper.
I don't like dummies, and I'm not calling you a dummy, but I don't like dumb people. I don't like liars, like the Kid Smooths and the crap gamers of the world. A lot of y'all got those same traits that they got. That's my problem. Don't lie to an intelligent person. Lie to an idiot.
Brother, listen. Not to call out other people.
I'm sorry, but
I am not Kid Smooth. To me,
you have some of the same mindset.
Listen to me. I am not him, and I'm not crap or whatever. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep bringing them up, but I'm not them. I am a gamer through and through, dude. I've been gaming since the Atari. I like what I like. Now, if we look at this is probably what you don't know about me. I buy every console. The reason why I buy every console is because at certain points in certain generations, in every generation, some go through slumps and have things that I don't want, and some have things that I do want. In the beginning of this generation, Xbox was giving me what I wanted. Now, I would say after Uncharted, PlayStation is giving me everything I wanted.
So
listen to me, brother.
Go ahead.
Rise, Dead Rising, Killer Instinct, Quantum Break. Those are my kind of games. Last of Us, God of War, Uncharted, Hellblade. Those are my kind of games. I did the same thing last generation. The first 3 years, I was all pretty much 360. Like, hey, everybody get a 360. Tell them on boys, get 360, get 360. After that, when fucking Uncharted shit started coming out, I'm like, hey, y'all get a PS3 because it got this game, it got Metal Gear, it got God of War, it got this and that. That's how I operate as a fucking gamer, bro. When something is giving me what I want, I go there. I don't give a fuck about.
But as a gamer, what is this lie that you got to tell about media bias? That's a lie.
I don't care about all this other shit, all this deep rooted feelings about what Sony did in Somalia or what Xbox did in Africa. Or what I'm a gamer, bro.
If you're a gamer, then why stop lying and saying media bias? Xbox is messing up. This is their worst generation. That's a fact.
What I've noticed, it does come off as a media bias to me. This is something else that you need to know. You come off as being smart, but this is how shit operates. If something is popular, immediately people are going to latch on to it. That's what they're going to do. They're not, to me, that GameSpot, you see that GameSpot interview about the Xbox where they're talking about it's garbage and I'd rather get this and I'd rather get that. And I can't, that's your opinion. If you're supposed to be a professional reviewer or professional whatever, you're not supposed to be giving your personal opinions. You should be objective and give the facts.
Well, did they ask them their opinion?
Okay,
they just came out and made this video. Well, I can't find the options. I can't find the settings. Like what? You push a button. You push start.
Jeff Keighley yesterday asked Michael Proctor, is that his name? That analyst,
Proctor, yeah.
On his show, asked him, "Do you think it's going to sell?" And he's asking his opinion. And Michael Proctor literally said, "You can get a Xbox One S
and a
PlayStation 4 Slim for the amount of a Xbox One X." And so he said, I would buy 2 over 1. Now he's just looking at it. Now let me ask you this, Cycle. Do you think that's bias that he's saying that, or do you think
Craig, if somebody is asking somebody a question and saying, hey, what do you know, that's different. When you're a company, a major gaming company, you just come out and just put some shit out. It wasn't like it was an interview. They just came out and put the shit out. If you watch it, I thought it was a spoof when I'm looking at it. How bad they were just talking about the Xbox, like you know what I'm saying? Like I thought it was a spoof. I thought they was joking. I thought at the end of the video they were going to come out and say, "Oh no, we're just kidding." But the shit. So it's a difference between being asked, "Hey, what would you do? Personally, what would you do?" You know, when it comes to this, Michael Proctor is somebody that just puts out basically all opinions. Basically, that's just what he does.
Can I reply to what you said?
Sure. You
lashing on to the same stuff that all these other YouTubers say. Even diehard. Listen. Let me finish my sentence. Diehard Xbox 360 fans say the damn settings are hard to find on the Xbox. You want to tell them that they wrong too?
I don't think they're hard.
I know diehard 360 fanboys. That's how. But you cannot.
That's 360 though.
I'm talking about Xbox, whatever. Because the only reason why these people want an Xbox One because 360 was a popular generation. If it was, and these not OG Xbox fanboys like that. They're more 360 fanboys. 360 blew it out the water. I'm honest enough to admit that. I'm always honest. I don't do opinions. I do honesty. Now, if diehard Xbox fan, you notice that many of these big time YouTubers had Xbox Ones. They gave it a chance. But Xbox One with all these stupid updates because the system wasn't freaking ready to launch. They're trying to keep up with Sony. They had to get rid of it up one time on PlayStation because that's a better option if you are a gamer about games. Yes, the UI is easy. It's more easy to maneuver around. If that's how someone feels, that's not bias, bro. I ran damn near every Xbox fan I know say the Xbox One is trash. Damn near every Xbox fan I know that hasn't bought an Xbox One that's played it and played the PS4, they say, I don't know what Microsoft done this generation. I'm getting PlayStation because they knocking it off the water.
Look, I'm not getting into that because that's.
Can I step in for 1 second? I just want to step in for 1 second. Okay, here's the thing. This is how we can decipher this. Okay, yes, our thoughts on whether Microsoft is better or not. Yes, that's an opinion. Everyone has, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Now, where the facts come in is when you look at sales numbers and when you look at the amount of games that's being delivered. That is just a fact. Okay. So what we need to distinguish between the two is, like he brought up the several guys that are kind of like the diehard fanboys. What you don't realize is, and a lot of people don't realize it, even though they rep Microsoft and Xbox hardcore, and they, spit some of the stuff that is just not in reality. A lot of people just won't open their eyes and realize, hey, these guys own PlayStations. And these guys probably game mostly on PlayStation. But since they do YouTube and they get revenue, their fan base is evolved around the Xbox and delivering you some crazy news that kind of fits their agenda.
That is my point. So I feel like this is my opinion. Okay. Mm-hmm. I feel like the gaming media, what they've done is it's been profitable to bash the Xbox. Oh my god, seriously, it's profitable. But that's just
for this generation. I agree with you.
If I make a video right for this generation, last generation, exactly. And I was talking to, amongst my friends, I was talking the same thing because I wasn't on YouTube. Mm-hmm. They was all like, "No, we got to keep our 360s." I'm like, "No, y'all see? Did I not see what these games look like on PS3?"
Yeah.
And they're like,
but you also have to realize, okay, you admit, okay, last generation the media was in the tank for Xbox, and this generation is in the tank for PlayStation. Yes. I think we can all agree that. Okay, if we're going to agree that, now that it's Microsoft's time to take the L on that, so people shouldn't complain. They should just have to say, "Hey, this is our time."
I would have been complaining last generation. I would have been complaining last generation too. I would have been online talking about, "Hey, why are y'all talking bad about PS3?" Because it's an awesome system. It got a fucking Blu-ray.
No, real gamers spend their time gaming. I didn't complain about nothing. I played my games.
Okay. You on this podcast right now talking. So
and I'm making money while I'm on this podcast. I'm making money by the second.
Me too.
So it's all I can do that.
Me too. I can do it too. But you coming on here telling me that I'm a liar or I'm wrong or whatever. And you still haven't told me what I'm lying or wrong about.
I just told you what you're wrong about. You notice how you lose all debates? I don't see PlayStation guys losing debates. I'm talking about how you keep saying that the reason why Xbox is doing so bad because of their reputation in the media.
Andrew, check this out. Okay,
go ahead.
I understand what you're saying, but check it out. This is how that argument is always going to fall on deaf ears because, okay, I was listening to this YouTuber. We're going to keep him unnamed, but everybody know him. And this guy basically will never debate anybody, even though what he says is always wrong. And the reason he'll never debate anybody because he doesn't operate in facts. He operates in opinion. You can't tell somebody their opinion is wrong or right because it's their opinion. So you're trying to take a fact and apply it to the guy, to Psycho Gamer's opinion. That's his opinion. He can't be wrong with his opinion. He will always be right or wrong depending on how he perceive it. So I think you're kind of approaching it the wrong way because you can't force a person's opinion to be right or wrong because it's all up to how they see it. And that's just the reality. That's why I try not to debate people because unless you both agree to focus 100% just only on the facts and leave out the opinions, it's going to be running around in circles. You can't, if you're telling me that I'm wrong on something, but I'm giving you my opinion, how can my opinion be wrong? That's just how I feel. You can't tell me how I feel about something, and that's why I think
you're right about that.
That's why I think we have to kind of come to the agreement on this. Exactly. This is where it is. I think.
And you walked in with an opinion. PlayStation is better. Like, what?
Yeah,
it's better for gamers.
What should have happened? No, this is what
if you want a game, PlayStation is better. That's a fact.
But let me say this real fast.
This is what it should.
If you feel that Sony, if you feel Microsoft, and Cycle, this is nothing towards you. I just saw you say this last week. In another podcast, in a chat, it'll go one name, that the only reason why the Xbox didn't sell as well is because of marketing, period. Now, you're in marketing. Honestly, can you explain that?
I'm in marketing. Let me explain that to you. And you may agree with me. By the time I get done, you're going to agree with me. Okay?
All right.
So, in the companies that I've worked for, all of this falls under marketing. The price.
Right.
You said the price is an issue, right? That falls under marketing. When we sit down and we talk about how we're going to put a product out, we discuss the price. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Price, how it's marketed, and where it's marketed. Okay. That's another thing. Microsoft failed in that aspect. Okay. So there's the price and how it was marketed. Number one thing though is the actual product. Okay, we look at our competitors and say this is what they're doing. Okay, this is what we need to put into our product. Or do we go a whole other direction with it and try to market it another way? Sony gave you 1080p, and Sony has a superb marketing team because they didn't have much. When it comes to big AAA games, they didn't have much. What they had was power, they had the price, and they had the indies. And that's what they marketed. They did that well. Microsoft didn't have the power. They didn't have what they had was they had games, they have AAA games and stuff like that, but they just failed at marketing it properly. And they didn't look at the market as far as what people actually want. Microsoft looked at their statistics and said, okay, people are buying the Kinect. It sold this amount. People are moving towards digital. What they tried to do is what they were trying to do, they did it too soon. Okay, so that's why I say it fell on marketing because of the price and the product and the way they put it out.
Okay, so let me ask you this quick question. If what you just said is true, and I talk to you about it, let's just say, I don't know, I work at friggin' GameSpot, and I talk to you about that, and you work in marketing, and I don't give your name, I can just say I talked to a marketer who said that Microsoft failed, and I can put my own words. I can say Microsoft failed at price point, they failed at doing things too soon. I think what Andrew was saying is you're running around saying that's media bias when they're just reporting what they're seeing. I mean,
all of this is a trickle down effect.
Okay.
Microsoft. So the best singer doesn't always make the most money. Okay? The best. So, for me, what I liked the Xbox. I like what they were delivering. Like I said in the beginning, I wanted two separate things. I like the direction that Microsoft was going in because I can see that happening in the future anyway. So I liked that, but I also wanted my PlayStation for what they offered, those big single player AAA games. But they weren't giving me that in the first 2 years or so.
Well, yeah, but when the Sony president when PS3 happened, the Sony president said that people would go out and get part-time jobs because the PlayStation 3 is such a great. Now the media,
that's another thing.
The media reported that, and
that's another thing. So I can't talk about it without y'all being like, what? Because we have these. I understand, but these are kind of conversations we have, and it's about mind share, and it's about how you put things out and how you say things to people. If you come out and say go get a second job, that is detrimental to your brand because people are going to report that, and then in your mind mentally, you're going to be like fuck them. They think I'm some kind of piece of shit where I just got to go, get 2 jobs just to buy their console. The mind, and I'm trying hard to explain it to you without going too.
No, okay, you're making perfect sense. So when Don Matrix said, "Oh, if you don't have good internet," it was condescending what the Sony president said. I think universally that's been accepted. So So when Don Matrix said, "Oh well, if you don't have good internet, you can just buy an Xbox 360," that's condescending. That's Microsoft's overall attitude towards the world. They're just
I don't know if
condescending.
I don't know if that's the world. I don't know. I don't know if that's to the world, but again,
okay.
this all goes back to what I was. This all goes back to what I was saying. Was it's about the marketing and how they put it out. They failed at that, and from there, it's a trickle down effect to people at GameStop and the employees and the gaming media and people that it all trickles down to that. And so instead of, for me, it's like I'm looking at it for what it is instead of the emotional attachment behind it.
I don't know how that drives. Again, this is just me personally. I don't know how that drives a consumer to buy something. I mean, if you go in and you want to spend, like you said, $100 more for, in essence, what was the same thing. I mean, let me give a shout out to Rich Review Tech and Boogie, because he said that both of those guys said the same thing. They both said that if little Mary goes into the GameStop or wherever store she goes into and she sees something at $3.99, something at $4.99, and it in essence did the exact same thing, played games, played movies, and it went online. If you chose to pay for the connection, they were going to buy something that's $3.99. That's got nothing to do with the media. That's the consumer making a decision.
But I'll give an example of myself. There's two places that I went to where I heard this. Okay, so I'll go into GameStop and I'm getting ready to pre-order both consoles, right?
Right.
So I get in there and the guy's like, "Why are you getting the Xbox?" This is an employee, okay?
Right.
He doesn't know nothing about me, right? And so he's like, "Why are you getting the Xbox?" I was like, "Cause I want to get it. It seemed pretty cool." He was like, "Well, the PlayStation does 1080p. The Xbox don't do 1080p, or and it's a better console, it's just a better system." Like, why are you
get paid to sell a PlayStation?
Why are you, as an employee, telling me that I'm finna get both? Why are you telling me not to get an Xbox as an employee?
Because they get what you call it, commission for selling PlayStation, and they got deals with PlayStation. That's common sense, bro.
And that's why this is why I say what I say.
That's not bias. That's just one that has a bigger fan base.
Okay.
It's about the money, bro. Like, hold on, you say about popularity. Exactly. How did Nintendo get to be popular? They made the right moves, not because of media bias.
You proving my point. It's about the money. At the end of the day, it's about profit.
Sony deserve. They did the footwork it took to make it big in this industry. Cool. They deserve that right and respect. If Microsoft did the same thing, they would be in the position Sony was, but they haven't.
I agree.
Come on, that's common sense.
I agree, but what I'm saying to you is it's about profit. All of this shit is about profit. If I know that if I put fucking big ass in my title, okay, and I know that that's going to get more views. Mm-hmm. Then I'm gonna put big ass in my title because
just like how the Xbox YouTubers lie and say Sony suck. They love Sony for real. That's just, I know when somebody lying. Give me your opinion. I know when your opinion is false. A lot of them dudes play more PlayStation than they do Xbox. They lying when they say they don't like Sony.
Well, Jay's right though. Most of these cats, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Cycle. Most of these cats have both PlayStation. It's just that they've built their. I agree with you. They built their house on sand. Now, I agree with you on that, Andrew, and this press conference to me showed it. If you all got to go see this tweet Kratos just sent me.
Breaking news
about 4K, and the person that needs to look at it is friggin' my brother Widowmaker. He is going to cry. He may split his wrist. I'm not going to get into what the tweet said, but that's why I started laughing. Boy, that's bad. It's true. What I've been saying for, I don't know, about a month and a half.
This is something, Craig, this is something that Cycle Gamer probably will probably like to talk about here.
What?
Basically, okay, so Sony has finally came out and confirmed what their monikers stand for. When they say 4K Ultra HD, that stands for a game that has a 2160p frame buffer output that includes native 4K, checkerboarding, and dynamic resolution. So either of the three, they consider 4K Ultra HD. HDR, yes, HDR moniker is a game that supports HDR10 standard. Xbox One X Enhanced is a game that takes advantage of Xbox One's 6 teraflops of power. Specific enhanced features will vary by game. So this will put to rest any of that true 4K, fake 4K stuff. It's doing the same thing as the Pro. Obviously, it's going to probably do it better because it's more power. It should be. But for those who are expecting to get 4K 60 on every game, that's not going to happen. The bulk of the games that we saw yesterday were all 4K 30 frames, and a lot of them were either dynamic resolution, checkerboarded, or native. The only one that's been confirmed to be native 4K 60 is Forza 7.
So this
is from Sony. This is from Microsoft.
This is nothing that I haven't said already. I've said this on this podcast a number of times. Is anything that's like 900 1080p on the Xbox, the original Xbox or whatever, is probably going to be bumped up to 4K. If it's 4K 30, if it's 1080p 30, it's probably going to be 4K 30. If it's 1080p 60, it's probably going to be 4K 60. So this is another thing. All right. So Microsoft is giving people what they thought people wanted. Because if you're Microsoft and you're looking at PlayStation, you're like, okay, where are we going wrong? We're doing okay. We're doing okay over here, but they're selling this amount. So what are we doing that's wrong, and what can we do to get us on that level? And people are telling them online. That's the thing about Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that is people are telling them, shit, we want resolution. We want more, Japanese games. This is what we want. Now, so if I own a French fry company, and people say I want sugar on my fries, if I'm checking Twitter and people are saying that, and I'm checking YouTube and people saying I want sugar on my fries, you better be damn well. If I want to sell some more French fries, I'm gonna start putting sugar on my fries.
I hear you.
And I feel like Microsoft is trying to listen to what people say they want, resolution and shit. So they're trying to give you the best resolution.
I agree with you. Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. This is the argument, and it's not really for Microsoft. It's really for the fanboys. And the fanboys have backed Microsoft into corners multiple times, plenty of times, putting words into Microsoft's mouth that they didn't say, creating a narrative for them to fail. And that's basically what happened during their E3 press conference. They overhyped it so much.
I call them Jack Reachers.
Yes.
That's why I call them Jack Reachers.
They've reached so much. It was an unreal expectation that Microsoft just could not fill. So, but basically when me reading this, reading Microsoft's own words, it wasn't about 4K. It was basically about PlayStation Pro has been getting shitted on by the fanboy community, the Xbox fanboy community for having some native games and some dynamic resolution games. So basically they called it fake 4K.
Didn't that happen with the original Xbox though? With fake 1080p and it's being upscaled to and it's not native? Well, wasn't that same?
That's because 1080p is an old format.
Yeah.
We've been gaming in 1080p since 2000 what?
We can
Microsoft
we want.
No, you're right. Microsoft created the term dynamic. They put a market on that. But here's the thing. So the PlayStation Pro has been labeled the fake 4K system. So now the Scorpio releases or is about to release, and we're looking for the true 4K. And here it is in black and white. Basically, it's doing the same thing that the PlayStation Pro is doing. So
yeah,
not only
have we waited.
Right?
Slightly better. You're right. Yeah, it's going to do a little bit. Remember, it's going to do a little. The Scorpio was going to do a little bit more than the Pro.
You're right. But
that's the thing, though. I feel the same way about the original PS4 and the original Xbox. I feel like there were some 1080p games on the original Xbox, but Sony did it better. That just is what it is. But it was
the ES RAM. My bad. I didn't hear the ES RAM really bottlenecked the developers with the Microsoft system. That's why Microsoft deployed those dev teams to a lot of the studios to show them how to get around that. That's why they were able to get to 800, 900p, and they got to dynamic resolution. But they did it because the ES RAM really messed them up. But understand the ES RAM, what it really did well was when you came in and said Xbox on, that's ES RAM that's controlling that. The UI that Microsoft, and Andrew made a good point, the UI was changed. It was streamlined because people were having trouble finding stuff. People were calling Xbox Live saying they can't find stuff. It was there, like you said, Cycle, but they were having issues, and Sony had a much more streamlined UI, but Microsoft streamlined their UI too. For anybody who doesn't know, I got an Xbox One S and it looks different. The UI is different than the original Xbox that came out in 13, 14. So
that's always going to happen. I hear what you're saying, but that's always going to happen. It's always happened with Microsoft's UI. They change it pretty much every year, every other year.
Yeah, but it's just fine. I'm not complaining about it, but but yeah, I'm glad Kofi put that out there because I said this like a week ago. I'm like, look, you all got you got 1440p, you've got 1600p, it all upscales. You're going to get 2160p. So if you're expecting, and I'm talking about the Jack Reachers who were saying that Digital Foundry is going to do all this stuff and it's going to prove how much better it looks in native versus dynamic. And I'm like, it's going to look a little bit better, but it's going to be a negligible look. It's going to be. I'm not saying it won't look any better because a native picture does look better than something that's dynamically upscale, but it's not going to be to a point where you're going to get the 1080p, 900p, which was 40 to 44% different. I was saying that at the beginning of the podcast. That's what is now coming crashing down to earth today. You can see it, you can feel it. It's starting to sink in,
To me, resolution is from the beginning. Resolution is never been a big deal to me. So I don't. I mean, as long as it looks good to me, then I'm good. You ain't never heard me brag about.
Cycle, that's you.
That's me, though. Right? I know. That's me. And I'm talking about me. That's all I'm talking about. Yeah. I can't speak for everybody else. I can't. So let me talk about E3 real quick. I know.
Okay. Go. Yeah, we want to hear.
So for the okay. This may sound like damage control, but I'm gonna spit it out anyway. I feel like, as far as what people claim they wanted, I feel like Microsoft deserves a B. For me, they deserve a C. Because, like I said, the God of Wars, the Gears of War, the Quantum Breaks, the fucking the Rise, like that's the shit that I like. I like the big AAA titles that push the boundaries of what the console can do. And I feel like Sony is gonna murder them on that, and that's what I like. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like Sony's E3 just like I did last year. I'm gonna like Sony's better than Microsoft's because for me, I feel like they just delivered a bunch of I call them enhanced indies or AA titles or whatever. There's a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of Japanese stuff. I'm not really feeling that. To me, Microsoft conference this year looked like a conference from PlayStation from 2014 and 15. To me, it looked like one of those where there's like, a bunch of little small titles in there, a few AAA titles, and then a bunch of AA or enhanced indies or good-looking indies and shit like that. Like, I'm not feeling that.
Well, that's one of the things that people were asking for.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's why I feel like Microsoft deserves a B for trying to deliver what people asked for. People wanted backwards compatibility.
I got you. I misunderstood.
And they wanted some Japanese shit, and Microsoft did that. They gave them some Japanese stuff. They gave them resolution. The best resolution you can get on a console, with a powerful system. I feel like they did a lot of fan service in their E3, so for that reason they should get a B for giving them fan service. But for me personally, Psycho Gamer, I give them a C because of what I like and what I look forward to.
All right, this question is for the panel, real fast. What do you all think? Apparently, Metro is an Exodus that allegedly is being reported. It was running on a PC. It's going to be optimized for the Scorpio and the Pro, but do you all think that them showing games running on PC versus running on the console is? I thought we were past that, but allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly because I can't source it off of another website, they're reporting that this thing wasn't running on Scorpio, that they showed it running on PC. So
I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that either way. Like, I always want the real shit. Yeah. Like I don't get excited for CG trailers and shit like that. Like I want to see gameplay, and I want to see what it's actually going to look like while I'm playing it with the controller in my hand. And so if it is PC, then I think it's some bullshit. But if it was actually the Scorpio, then that's great.
Yeah. It shouldn't be shocking. We've seen that before, where mostly all of the stuff that we see is running on PC, and eventually the consoles will get a downscaled version of the game. But that game, if it was running on Scorpio, That game looks beautiful. I cannot confirm nor deny, but I tell you what, it's not out of the realm of that being actual gameplay on the Scorpio, especially if it was using dynamic resolution and checkerboard rendering.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm disappointed that they did that. I'm not shocked though. I wish we were past that. Is everybody buying Assassin's Creed? Come on, we got a black protagonist.
Day one. I'm getting the collector's edition.
Yeah.
You know what disappointed me the most about Microsoft's E3? Disappointed me the most was fucking Crackdown, Crackdown and Sea of Thieves. So I feel like they needed to show more of Crackdown. We already seen enough of fucking Sea of Thieves. Like
they needed to reverse it, right?
Yeah, exactly. They need to reverse that whole thing. Like show us more. Like you didn't even show Crackdown at all last E3. So give us more of that and show us, what if you're doing a cloud for real. That's why I think something wrong with the game. But if you're doing cloud for real, like you said you was, that would have been an awesome showpiece over what the fuck you showed at with Sea of Thieves. Like they showed like 5 or 10 minutes of that shit. I'm like, come on, man.
Reminds you of the launch lineup. The launch lineup, not that impressive. It's the same old Xbox.
What's
the launch lineup? I'm talking about Crackdown and Sea of Thieves. Reminds me of Dead Frame Rate, Killer Instinct. They've been consistent. Their games aren't intriguing. That's why they don't sell well.
Tripping.
Hey, the numbers will speak. The Xbox fanboys are buying if the games weren't intriguing.
You talking about numbers and sales and shit. Did you play
I'm talking about nobody's interested in them games like that. Crackdown is a game where you dress up as RoboCop and you run on rooftops. Nobody want to change people on rooftops.
Did you play the game? I don't give a fuck.
I'm not dumb enough. Listen, I already told you I'm smart enough to look at a trailer of a movie or gameplay to tell if I would like it or not. That's why I haven't bought an Xbox. I wanted to get an Xbox One S, but to be honest, the only people that are going to buy an Xbox One S because they didn't do a good job of really showing the big blockbuster games. They showed a lot of kiddie graphical games. The only people that's going to buy it are people that are curious to see the difference between the 4K between the Pro and the Xbox One S, or people that's never entered the realm of 4K yet. That's the only. And then they're gonna buy 1 or 2 games, and then they're probably gonna get rid of it.
You're just a hardcore PlayStation guy.
I'm not. I'm just a smart person, and I'm not stupid. I don't make inaccurate predictions. I'm not a hardcore PlayStation guy. I swear to God, I'm not. I'm not.
In my opinion, it comes off. It's kind of, if you call yourself a gamer, but you're alienating yourself from games just because of reviews or what somebody else say.
I don't listen to reviews.
In my opinion, I think that's.
I don't listen to reviews. I predicted $500. Nobody told me. I don't have fake insiders like the Xbox fan base do. How I knew it was gonna be $500. The same way I could predict $500, and it's a Steam box. All they showed was PC ports mostly. It's a Steam machine for Windows 10. I was right about that. When I tweeted a certain somebody day one of the reveal, I was right on both sides. I can look at the game. It's not that intriguing.
I was right too day one when people were saying it was going to be $800, $900 day one, and it won't do 4K at all because they $1,000 rig can't do 4K. I said $500 too, and I put it up.
Well, I said that.
Yeah,
that was when they were going to throw in a VR. Well, they were supposed to throw in a first-party VR headset, and they didn't. They dropped it, which is fine. They cut down on production costs. Then they went third-party with Oculus, but. That originally they weren't going to do that. Their first set up design, white paper design, has VR first party, and it was going to come.
It said it's going to be able to do. I don't ever remember them saying they're going to put a headset in there. They said it was going to be 4K and VR capable.
Well, they ended up after the first few meetings, months of meetings, they said we can't do it and keep it under a decent price. To me, $500 is still too much. And let me break this really fast. Shout out to, Twitter's breaking a lot of news. I guess there's more stuff coming out of the conferences. Crackdown is not going to be 4K 60 uncompromised. 4K 30. God. It just broke.
Who said 4K 60 uncompromised? Who said that?
Aaron Greenberg said that. Like the Microsoft executives have been touting that.
He did not say every game is going to be 4K 60 uncompromised. And this is another thing.
I don't have a problem with 4K 30.
This is the thing. This
like Kratos said that.
This is how I feel like I'm disconnected from these motherfuckers online, because it's like I understand what he said, and I don't understand why other people don't understand what he said, because it's like this is what they said straight out of his mouth. This is what Albert Pinello said straight out of his mouth. Okay, he said every game is not going to be 4K 60. This is out of his mouth, verbatim almost. He said, basically, this is what we want to do. We want to take a game that's on your original Xbox and make it 4K. Let's say, he said, for example, Forza. We want to take that game as 1080p 60. We want to make that 4K 60 without compromising. Meaning they're going to make it 4K without compromising anything from your original game. You're not going to lose any. You're not going to lose any assets. You're not going to lose any people on screen or cars on screen or whatever. You're not going to lose any of that. It's just going to be the same game in 4K without compromising what you already own.
No doubt. Now, what you're talking about was later on. Was more recent than when they originally.
No, that was like
unveiled
that was like three weeks after.
No. This is what came out the day one when they unveiled this thing. The only talk was coming out was 4K uncompromised. It was splattered on their website. It was all over the place. And even then they said it. They said you're going to take your games and make it 4K. No, that was one of the features. Okay. That was one of the features of it, was to be able to take your existing games and your even your backwards compatible games to be able to bring those up to a certain level
without compromise. Though
the executives themselves said when they designed this console, it was 4K uncompromised. This is what they aimed for. This was what they were delivering. Now, the definition of what compromise and uncompromised is could be totally different. That's, I guess, in the eye of the beholder. But here's the thing. This is what I want to say. The fanboys, yes, they overhyped the system, and Sony did not do anything to tamper them or to hold them back either. They kind of fuel the flames on this. They've benefited from this. But, maybe they should have came with being a little bit more modesty, because remember, it was supposed to have Ryzen, it was supposed to have Vega. That didn't turn out to be true. Then it was supposed to be all the games 4K 60. Now that's not turned out to be true. Now it was just going to be chugging everything along. Well, that's not true, because now they're using sparse render, dynamic resolution, and dynamic frames, and even the CPU is using dynamic features to help. And so. And this is a year later, after the Pro has already been on the market and already has a large install base and saturation. So, and on top of that, it's $100 cheaper. Sony may come out tonight, knock $50 off or $100 off. That's going to put the the Xbox One X, that much wider in what you can get for your money versus the thing. And it just really depends on, the Xbox One X is really impressive, but only if you're not comparing it to something else. If you compare it to the Pro, it's impressive, but it's not $200 or $150 impressive, because they didn't show the games yesterday. I believe, in my opinion, that would make me go spend $500 for it. I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy State of Decay.
We have to wait until the actual games come out, though.
Life is Strange 2 or 3. Come on, man. Nobody's gonna spend $500 to pay for Life is Strange.
We can wait till next E3 and see what they pull out.
No, we can talk a lot right now and all that kind of stuff about what if the difference is big or small, but we're not gonna know until the games actually come out and we can actually make comparisons between the two.
Okay, we'll wait for Digital Foundry to give their things, but here's the thing. This console launches November.
That's what I was going to say. You should be able to look at it and tell the difference. I don't think we need Digital Foundry. You should be able to look at it and say, this is different than this, and this looks better than this, or this looks worse than this. That's what we should be able to do. But
I agree. I agree. But that, at the same time, a lot of people were underwhelmed by that conference yesterday, and that's why we're talking about it right now. It's because this was, me and Craig did these podcasts for the last 2 months, stating that this was the event to end all events. This is what Microsoft needed to do to come back. Come back into people's grace and be back on their good side. And to a lot of people, it just didn't deliver and do what they thought it was going to do. They were expecting huge juggernaut games, and they didn't get that. They got 20 minutes of State of Decay. They got 2 seconds of Crackdown, which is their launch title. That's their biggest launch title. That was supposed to be their biggest game ever. And it seemed like they just kind of bypassed, skipped. They were supposed to show the cloud power, the DX12, and all this stuff we've been waiting on for the last 4 years, and that just didn't come. So I just don't know if that day will ever come.
Hey, Kratos, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Everything Microsoft themselves and the Xbox fanboys has hyped has been basically a lie or a failure. Why do people keep continuing to give this company the benefit of the doubt? I don't understand. They're like Roy Jones boxing in their mid-40s. Keep losing.
I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, for one, they've already dedicated so many years in time of damage controlling. It's hard to just say, okay, I gotta stop. You get in a rhythm and you just can't. It's like the Xbox guy that he only has an Xbox. He'll only play on the Xbox, but he sees all these great games on the PlayStation side. He wants to play God of War. He wants to play Spider-Man, but he can't for the life of him go out and buy a PlayStation because he's dedicated his life to this Xbox platform and he's been hyping it up and damage controlling for so long. It's like that battered wives syndrome. You get beat so many times, then when the guy stopped beating you, then you feel like he doesn't love you anymore, so you beg him to beat you some more. That's how a lot of guys feel. A lot of the fanboys, the extreme fanboys, this is how they feel. You got other guys that, like Psycho Gamer, it doesn't matter what you play on. He has an Xbox, has a PlayStation, whatever,
and a Switch,
and a Switch. So whatever game comes out that's interesting him, he's gonna get. But at the same time, his preferred console of choice is Xbox, and that's fine. There is nothing wrong with that. Right now, I think we're talking more about the extreme guys. We can be all inclusive, but at the same time, I've been one of those proponent guys of saying, hey, if some of these guys start saying some really crazy stuff, it's your job to call them out on it. Because if not, then everybody's going to bundle
What's
the
up,
Xbox
people?
community.
What's up?
Hey, how's it going? They're going to bundle them up together.
That's the thing. I don't even like fuck with those dudes, man, because I don't fit in with them because I'm not.
You don't want to be associated with them.
No, it's not even that. It's just we don't click. You know what I'm saying? Like Crap Gaming got me blocked because I called him out on some shit. Like I just don't click with motherfuckers like that, and I don't click with people that's.
I'm just trying to understand why is it the only Xbox fan base? People have called my mother a crack whore because I predicted certain things about the Project Scorpio. Call my mother a crack whore. I'm about ready to find this one dude. I know what city he lives. I was gonna knock him out, but I said, you know what? It ain't working. It
ain't, man. Don't get yourself. I've been
I'm not gonna do it.
in that guy's shoes. It ain't worth getting on a plane and rolling up on somebody. Over some games. I think the reason why is because they really imprinted what they wanted Scorpio to be. When it's stuff, I mean, to me, 4K native is great. That it should have just stopped right there. But they took it too far. When I saw that CPU come out, when Kratos came on and we talked about the CPU, I'm like, well, I'm a PC novice trying to build one. I'm like, I know that CPU can't handle 60 unless the game is already been hitting at 60, and then it's not going to be a hard game to render. Like Forza, Forza looks fantastic, but it's easy to build.
Craig, what's up? Let me come in and speak on this because I watched that damn shit yesterday on the conference. Hey, all right. First of all, this one I'm finna say. The Xbox One X is kind of cute. It ain't as big as that bullshit that they gave us the first time when it released. But my thing is, where are the damn games? All the Xbox fans, remember, they spent their time talking about Project Scorpio greater than PS4 Pro. I'm like, not with that bullshit at $500 is not. That motherfucker is expensive. I don't care what you say or how you feel. That press conference need fucking patches and 4D super duper resolution itself to be good because all we got was a game Battlegrounds. We got that Metro Exodus. Those games are already going to be coming out for PC and other systems. Those are not exclusives. Sea of Thieves. No offense. I don't give a fuck about no Sea of Thieves.
Hey, real quick, I got to roll, yo.
Oh, all right,
Cycle.
Cycle.
Take it easy, man.
All right, y'all.
Cycle.
And don't be talking shit when I'm gone either, man.
Okay.
I'm playing with y'all, man.
All right, have a good one, man.
Have a good one, brother. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm sorry, but that Microsoft conference yesterday, other than the Assassin's Creed, which I'm glad we have a brother in the lead role, which is fucking awesome. That damn conference was fucking trash. I don't care what nobody say. You have to be the most deluded dumbass Xbox fanboy like a crap game or a BGST. Even they know the damn conference was shit and trash the other day. Phil Spencer can take a bag of shit.
People's names out on this podcast.
Okay. All right, sorry about that. Fuck it. Look, People know Phil Spencer will sell them a bag of shit and light that bitch on fire. He'll light that motherfucker.
I compare it to the Star Wars, what happened in 1995 when Lucas announced new Star Wars movies. People got so caught up in there being new Star Wars movies that they did not care about the quality of the movie. And then when the movie came out, the fanboys were pushed to just do different articles and stuff on what they liked about the movie. They're still talking about Darth Maul. It's been almost 20 years. The fight scene with Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan Kenobi is still one of the most talked about things. And it's because it was the best thing about the movie. That only lasted a little over 2.5 minutes. But, and these Jack Reachers, what they did is they said these games are going to be 4K 60. And Kratos, you're right. There should have been some humility, somebody online, whether it was Albert Pinello or Major Nelson or even Phil Spencer, that should have said, look, not all these games are going to be 4K 60. That's what we target. And look, Star Wars Battlefront 2, my understanding from Windows Central, is going to be 4K 60. So great. I mean, that's good.
Well,
but
Craig,
but I was going to say Destiny, I don't think is, and the Crackdown, that just broke. It's not. But they backed themselves, like you said, Kratos, they backed themselves into a corner, and now that's why none of them are saying nothing today. I mean, it's crickets. It is crickets on that side.
Craig, Andrew, Kratos, this is what we need to do. We need to go to Miami and find one stop. We need to ask that man, do he got a whole bag of the pens, wet wipes,
and corks.
Yeah. Because these motherfuckers is gonna be shitting all over the place for the next damn 3.5 months. And I'm sorry, I mean, like I said, the Xbox One X is kind of cute. It ain't big and ugly like it was. But who want to pay $500 for a box that ain't got no damn games? Come on now.
They didn't show nothing graphical games to show. They showing these kitty panty Annie games.
Guys, I think we can all admit. That the expectations that was set upon Microsoft were too high for a company like Xbox that doesn't have the talent, they don't have the studios, and they ultimately just don't have the time to dedicate years long. Like, I mean, look at freaking Sony with The Last Guardian. I mean, it took them forever. It took them, 2 consoles to finally put that game out, and they were dedicated to it. Microsoft is one of those companies where, look, we'll give it 1.5 to 2 years to develop a game. If it sells great, good. If it doesn't, you're out of here. That's their mentality. So
let me add on to that, Kratos. Basically, what you're saying is what I've always said. Creativity and the passion outweighs the money. Because when you have look at Nier Automata. People said that game, certain folk whose name we're not going to call the motherfuckers, they said, oh, the game is going to be niche. It's Japanese. Nier Automata sold over 2 million copies so far now. And people love that game so much. You have an artist out of Japan, a self-taught animator out of Japan, want to make an anime because it's just that damn popular over there and also over here. And I said to myself, that all them people who talked about Nier Automata was a damn niche title. Go kill your fucking self. Because guess what? Halo might as well be a niche title. It don't sell like it used to. Forza might as well be a niche title. It don't sell like it used to. The fucking Xbox might as well be the niche box. It ain't selling like it used to.
Yeah.
PlayStation and Nintendo Switch is beating their ass all upside the head. Now, watch. Like Craig said today, it's gonna be crickets. But give it to after the Sony conference. Them same cricket ass people who got their mouth shut the hell up right now gonna bring their ass online talking about Sony stole our thunder. No, fool, you stole your own damn thunder. Your company stole their own damn thunder. You don't support your products. You can give a dog ass shit about Xbox gaming. All y'all care about is trying to be like PlayStation. You ain't got no damn swagger. You ain't got no creativity. Your games suck. You're a bunch of dumbass dude bros with Mountain Dew and Doritos. And by the way, fuck Call of Duty.
Hey Jesse, you know they gonna lie. Look, these are the same kind of dudes that said they hate Sony for what they did to Sega. I mean, the PS2 blew Sega out the water and ended the Dreamcast. Why are you blaming Sony for bringing a popular console? They the same guys that say that the Microsoft E3 is lackluster. Then the next day they're gonna say, "Oh, Sony's E3 was dog crap. Microsoft won." They always lying. That's what I was trying to get through to a Cycle Gamer. I'm like, you gotta, you know.
I'm gonna say this, Andrew. When I first met Soccer Gamer, we got into it because he said some crazy stuff about Killzone Shadowfall not being 1080p 60 on not being 1080 on the on single player. I said, look at Digital Foundry. He didn't look at it, but over time, this is what I learned about Cycle. Cycle's a person, he's a real cool guy, but he does sometimes stick his foot in his mouth and don't know he did it. Because I'm like, dude, why stop? But that aside, because I don't want to talk about the man, I don't want to talk about the man by him not being here. He can't defend himself. The way I feel is this, man. I feel that conference we got yesterday was a bunch of promises that didn't live up to what they were. And my thing is, why the hell do we care about a fucking Porsche? Excuse my French. Why do we give a crap about a Porsche in the middle of a gaming conference? Then you got this fool in this tight ass shirt screaming, yelling, yeah, this way, Project Darwinism. No. Keep that crap, take that crap, throw it out the window, blow it up, do something. I am not buying an Xbox One X. I don't care how sexy that thing look. I'm not touching it. It's like the girl that every dude in school and damn hit. She got.
Yeah, well, we got two more guests here. Let me bring on. We got the General in here, Supersonic Wolf. Shout yourself out, brother.
Yo, what's up, everybody on the panel? It is Supersonic Wolf, man. Good to see you, Craig. Everybody on the panel, my boy Kratos. Yeah, man, I'm here to talk about this E3, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Right. And then we got a man named Tyrone.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we hear you, Tyrone.
My real name's Tyrone. I go by Talus. It means infinite God Slayer in Egyptian.
What's up, Talus?
Yeah.
I have to
let the General go first here.
I'm sorry.
I saw your podcast yesterday, Wolf. What do you think about this press conference? Do you feel that, because I do agree with Cycle on one point. Cycle's point was a lot of the stuff, the Japanese titles. Did you see any titles on here, especially the Code Vein and maybe Ashen or something like that? Is that something that appeals to you as well, or do you think they just totally dropped the ball?
Do you want me to just go over it and just give you my positive and negatives about this whole thing?
Yeah, that'd be good. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. Do you want me to start with the positives first?
Yeah.
All right, because I'm trying to be a positive guy. I'm trying to be clean. I just don't want people to think I'm a sort of guy that goes around bashing, but at the same time, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Now, the positives I'm going to get from it, I got from it, the console is sexy as hell. It has that beautiful, sleek design. It has that premium look to it. The price tag, I don't know so much, but it's a great looking console. It's smaller than the 1S, so you gotta give him props for that. With all the power that it has under the hood, and for them to shrink it down to that size, you gotta give him credit for that. Especially the fact that it has that liquid cooling system, the harvest method, and all that kind of stuff. That's all great. But as far as the software, when you're looking at it, if you're looking at it as a casual and you're looking at it, as a gaming show, it was a good gaming show. If you're looking at it as a casual, we don't really care about exclusives and this and that. They showed games. But now, as somebody who's a hardcore gamer that cares about exclusive gaming, it was very underwhelming. They didn't really show. Well, the only announcement that I had that I took from it that was something new that I didn't know about was Ori and the Blind Forest 2. Forza, we knew we get that every year anyway. So the only new announcement that I wasn't expecting was Ori and the Blind Forest 2. Just one game and one new announcement. And then on top of that, we didn't even get no new IP. I wanted that one banger from these guys, and they didn't really deliver to me. So I'm really disappointed in that aspect. And another thing that I'm really annoyed about is they put 10 minutes in Sea of Thieves. 10 minutes on Sea of Thieves and 10 minutes on Shadow of War. That's 20 minutes of the press conference already gone. Do you know what? Do you know what? How many games you could fit within that 20 minutes? At least 4 or 5. You know what I'm saying? So and the Crackdown, it didn't really have a good showing because I didn't get to see legit hard gameplay from the player's perspective. I didn't get that from the player's view. And all we saw, yeah, it is in game, and the game is gonna look like that. But I wanted to see gameplay. Like I wanted like a little walkthrough, at least a 5-minute walkthrough of Crackdown 3, because you were hyping up, the cloud. You were talking about destructible environments, leveling the whole place, and knocking down buildings and all that. You were talking about all of this. I didn't see any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of indies. Like there were so many indies. Now I don't have anything against indies. Like don't get me wrong, right? But I do remember a lot of the Xbox guys were always saying to the Sony guys when they were excited about indies that, hey, you know what? Indies don't count. It's all about AAAs. It's all about AAAs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But all I saw at this press conference was the majority were indie games, and that were exclusives. Like they're creating a whole new term. They're changing the narrative when it comes down to exclusivity. I know Sony went around, I think they created their own term called console debut, but at the same time, they didn't go around sugarcoating anything. Now, when they say first on PlayStation, that's not sugarcoating anything. But when you go around saying, you got a little sound at the background saying exclusive, exclusive, exclusive. But when you read the thing, it says console launch exclusive. It's like you're trying to confuse the consumer out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I ain't buying into any of that, and I'm not going to fall for it, man. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do it. But as far as Code Vein and Dragon Ball and Ashen or whatever it's called, they're great games. Don't get me wrong. Code Vein and Dragon Ball, they're multiplayer. I get to play them on PlayStation 4 anyway. But I do give Phil credit for trying to, go to Japan and sign for some of these games on these platforms. I'll give him credit for that. But other than that, man, very underwhelming show. Very underwhelming, man.
Tyrone, what's your take on it?
Oh man, Lordy, Lord, man. Okay. Let me point out one thing that everybody, including y'all, always forget. Everybody screams 4K 60, 4K 60, 4K 60. 60 isn't all it's cracked up to be. I wish I could just show people this diagram. The human brain, tracks in 60. The human eye tracks in 30 frames per second. When you look at a frame and see 60, that's that blur that you see on your TV when you go, oh man, this thing is going to give me a headache. That's 60.
Yeah.
Now, when I saw it, you remember yesterday, I was like, shit, I'm going to go out and I'm going to purchase this tomorrow. I'm going to go pre-order it, all 500 bones tomorrow. And then you said, no. Even though the entire time they said exclusive, all across the boards. And then I saw a frame that said the only one that is an Xbox exclusive is Tacoma. Literally, Tacoma. All the other ones, even Ori, all those, they're slated to come on PC as well. The only one that is an Xbox only exclusive is Tacoma. All the rest are multi-plats, including PS and PC. Now, I have my OG PlayStation 4. The wifey has the PlayStation 4 Pro. We just bought an Xbox One S a couple of months back. We have a Switch, but if all the games that are going to be on the Xbox X, on the Xbox S, I don't see any reason to upgrade. It's going to look a little bit better, but then if it's a multi-plat, I might as well just get it on my PS4 Pro. That's where my friends game anyways.
Can I say something real quick? I don't know.
Yes, please do.
Okay. Basically, what he's saying is this, and I've said it myself. Whenever you can have the most top flight kick-ass premium system in the ecosystem, it's still in the ecosystem because if you build the game for the Xbox One X, you better be able to build that same damn game for the Xbox One S. So even though the One X has 9 gigs of GDDR5, it's not going to use all those 9 gigs. Most of that stuff's going to be used for caching that memory and making the games load faster. At the very most, they might use 6. Use 6 at the very most. Maybe on their first party, they might try to use all of it, but third party, they're not going to use all that space. And plus, the pricing. Oh my God, the pricing is $499. I saw it yesterday. That itself is going to get the Xbox One X fucking literally destroyed, because the Pro is $399 and it might drop down to $350 in the holidays. If it drops down to $350 in the holidays, that thing is going to go fly out the store, not only because it's cheaper, but it has better quality games. Now,
yo, Jesse, just a quick question though. Knowing that it was an underwhelming show exclusive wise, right? Do you think a $399 price tag would have made up for it?
You know what? I think, you know what, honestly, I think a $399 price tag would have more than likely, you know, levied some of the heavy blow of disappointment that you see. But see, the problem is Microsoft ain't thinking about that. They're like, well, we can sell our One S for $250. Look, people want your premium console now because you show what it could potentially do. But given the show yesterday and the fact that they really didn't show any games other than things that we've already heard about before, like Sea of Thieves and Crackdown, I'm going to say this. Phil Spencer sold us a bag of shit, lit it on fire, and said, hey, watch this bitch explode from the residual methane gas coming at the top of it. And some of the people just looked at it like, wow, this is incredible, bad smelling bag of exploding shit. Oh man, he said it's gonna be great. Now today, like Craig said, it's crickets on YouTube because these guys are gonna be in major damage control mode from now on all the way to November. And I said myself, power is a great thing to have, but if your games are not going to utilize and tap into the power and the potential of that console, there's no point in buying it. There's no point in buying it at all.
Yo, I say the same thing. Like, it's great to have power, but ultimately, it's down to the crafting. If you got the talent to utilize our hardware, if you got your first-party studios that can really take advantage and you have great talent on your team, then you can make a great-looking game. But if you're going to make games like Sea of Thieves, you cannot see that power.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I will say this, though. There are a couple of games I'm looking to get. Anthem is one of them because I watched, I said, oh, man, this is nice. I like what they're doing with this. I'm also looking at Wolfenstein 2 because of the fact that you beating the shit out of them dumbass nurses and getting their ass a new one. And the
KKK. And the KKK, bro.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They were also in Mafia 3, which is why I'm gonna buy Mafia 3 because they get to shoot their ass up. It's a couple of other games. Other than that terrible behind Microsoft E3 conference, some of the games like Wolfenstein 2, Anthem, Assassin's Creed, I know they're AAA titles. They're good looking. Now, Minecraft had a nice following at one point, but no one's really talking about Minecraft anymore, sadly. So that's not going to really get a whole bunch of buzz. Basically, the conference yesterday was debuting a console, debuting a car, and a bunch of filler. That's it. Now, the Battlegrounds game looked good because that's also on PC as well. But at the same time, though, I can get it on PC. So if you really want to ask what I give the Microsoft conference yesterday, as far as trying, I give them like a C-. As far as the overall conference, well, it's a D- because they tried to show some things, but they weren't really what the people were looking for at E3. So probably
Anthem's multiplayer.
They showed they showed a variety, but it was a variety of multiplats. That's the problem.
Yeah, Wolf, that's a good point. That's what's disappointing was that it's the best looking game they showed was Anthem, and it's not coming out till they'll probably push that to 19. So it's just it was overall it was underwhelming. I mean, look, when you have the Xbox fanboys in damage control, over that conference, that tells you everything. I see you had cats throwing their joysticks across the room, and One Stop for Gamers, the face of Xbox, resigned officially yesterday, as the face of Xbox. So
I saw that stream, bro, man. He had me dying, man. Yo, shout out to One Stop.
Wolf probably heard me in this stream too. Wolf probably heard.
Yeah, I heard you. I heard all of you, man.
Oh, you guys are mentioning about Ashen, right?
yeah.
Well, like out of all the ones that they showed, Black Desert is probably the most graphical game they had up there, other than the one that there's two parts to it before this one, where the nuclear holocaust type thing went off. Metro.
Yeah.
The only one that is as graphical as what they showed on Metro is Black Desert. That game requires an insane amount of graphical power on a PC.
Yeah.
Like a lot on a PC. I've been following it for probably a year and a half, wanting that thing to come to console. And of course, Xbox snagged it. It should have been snagged by PlayStation, but Xbox snagged it.
Yeah, well, an MMO, I'm again, I check marked that game. I check marked the Dragon Ball Z game, Cold Vein, and that was it. I mean, but that wasn't, and they were going to have to give me at least 8 to 10 titles because I have an Xbox One S. I heard you saying the same thing, Tyrone. There just wasn't enough there that I saw to move me from the Xbox One S. And I have a 4K TV, so I'm already getting the upscale. So for me, there's not enough there. And that's an expensive jump. If you right now, your Xbox One S at GameStop, they're giving you $70 for an in-store credit.
Don't get me wrong.
$70.
Like I said, when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this thing blows everything. But then you were like, no, those aren't exclusives. You're going to get those on your Xbox One S. I'm like, well, I'm not going to pay $500 to get something that's barely a little bit better than the PlayStation 4 Pro, because all the games that are on the Wi-Fi's Pro, if they're just going to look perfectly fine on our 4K system or TV, ain't no use in shelling out $500. That can go to getting another Xbox One S if we need it. We're saving up for whenever we count to PlayStation 5. But it makes it can go towards getting a new PC. There's literally no reason to buy an Xbox One. This is my personal opinion, okay? From everything I saw, there is literally no reason to buy an Xbox One X if you have a PlayStation 4 Pro or an Xbox One S.
Wrong.
All that computing, all that stuff that they're showing, it's got this much power, that much power, but the games are coming to their system before that one. So if you want an excellent looking, get yourself an Xbox One S and buy a 4K monitor. Not even a 4K.
I was about to say that.
4K monitor, an actual PC monitor, and you will get the highest resolution you are going to get out of that system.
Yes,
hey,
4K HDR monitor, yes.
Let me say this too. The reason I'm gonna say this may sound crazy to some people who are Xbox gamers, but look, Microsoft initially got to the gaming market because they saw what PlayStation and Nintendo were doing. They said, damn, these guys are king of the living room. We want to do that too. So ever since like 1996, I think, and that's been over 20 years ago, they've been trying to conquer the living room. The OG Xbox was by far the best Xbox platform. Other than them big ugly ass controllers, they had good games. The 360 was kind of like that so-so system because of all the Red Rings of Death. They had marketing deals, but they had a real bad fail rate. The Xbox
I went through 4 of them.
Huh?
I went through 4 360s because of that damn red ring.
Yep. And you know what? I had a 360 Slim that I showed Craig and Cycle when I was on a podcast a couple podcasts back early this year or last year. That thing is still sitting in my closet. I can't do anything with it. The guys at GameStop said the thing is a paperweight. You can't do nothing with it. Basically, what Microsoft is doing, they ain't got no studios to make no games. They don't. Scalebound is never coming back to Microsoft. It's not coming back because Hideki Kamiya is like, look, y'all ain't let me make the game I like. Basically, Microsoft ain't do nothing but shoot themselves in the foot the whole time. I hate to say it, but it's been painful to watch them do this to themselves. They have no one to blame. They're so busy trying to talk about subscription game services and Netflix and a stupid Porsche that the very thing that E3 is about really wasn't about that when it came to them. It was about look at this shiny toy we got.
Wait,
bro, I was kind of confused for a moment. I was thinking, is this a game show or a car show, man?
But wait, where was that whole subscription thing? Because I remember it was a big thing all over Twitter, all over YouTube, that they were going to subscription. But I didn't hear them mention anything about it at the conference.
They probably dropped it because they know it's a lot.
Somebody in the chat, Guardian Legend, shout out to him, said the only thing that Microsoft.
Yo, Craig, you just cut off there, man.
It's I just think people were underwhelmed. I'll never say people were upset, but I just think they're underwhelmed. And the reason why they had damage control yesterday is that they were underwhelmed. Savage Yuga, what's your opinion on this press conference? And can Microsoft pull it out of a hat here in the next, I guess, year? Because Sony, I saw some stuff the other day with Sony said something about the PlayStation Pro. So will there be new hardware tonight? Will there be some kind of big announcement? I mean, the best looking game on the Pro arguably is Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'm saying arguably, and it only used about 25 to 30% of the Pro's power. So, Savage, what do you think about tonight's press conference, and then overall, what do you think about the Microsoft presser yesterday?
First, I wanted to clear up because I stated in the chat earlier that Aaron Greenberg tweeted out some stuff. I was wrong on that. So I looked it up, and on the articles they put in like their personal view or whatever that the Crackdown is going to be 4K 60 and stuff. So that's where I got that. I just wanted to clear that up first. But I was wrong on that. I want to say that. Microsoft's conference, to be honest, because I was working yesterday, I wasn't able to watch it. I watched the first 10 minutes of it, and then I couldn't watch the rest of it. But then I heard from social media how everything was. And to be honest, I was kind of glad that I heard the outcome, because I feel that I would have been, I don't know, it would have been, well, a lot more weight. I was hoping a lot for Microsoft. I was really hoping a lot. And I think they did okay. If this was last year, I would have thought that they'd done a great conference. But they had all this building up, they had so much, I don't know how to explain it exactly. They had a lot of pressure on them or something. A lot of they were had a lot to live up to, and I think because of that, it looked worse than what it was. But as far as Sony goes, I don't know. To be honest, I'm thinking Sony could do a couple of things, but I'm not sure what Sony's planning. That's one thing I really don't know what Sony's going to do.
Well, I've been told that they've pulled some stuff back because they don't feel threatened by what Microsoft did at all. So I'm hearing they're pushing some stuff back to later on, like some you're going to see some stuff. We were going to see some stuff that we're not going to see now until the fall because they just don't, they just don't feel like, we may see a price drop around the holidays. I do think you'll see Slim be $250 permanently now. I do think we'll see that, but I just think kind of like what Kratos was saying and what Wolf has said before. They're just going to walk out there, say hello, and they're going to leave the stage, and then they're just going to drop banger after banger. Then they're going to let you catch your breath, and then they're going to drop another banger after a banger. So,
I just
think we got release dates. Yeah, I do think Microsoft did a good job with getting, Crackdown, Cuphead coming out in the fall. That's, Forza, of course, always coming out. Assassin's, look, those games, the release dates, and now October is completely packed. It's top to bottom. There's something coming out that's good for us gamers. But yeah, go ahead.
Could I chime in? Could I just chime
yeah,
in?
man, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
All right, now we've already established what's coming for the Xbox at this moment in time, right? We got Cuphead, we got Forza Motorsport 7, and we also got Crackdown. Now, Cuphead is an indie game. If you want to count that, that's cool. But we only got 2 AAA games on the Xbox this holiday season confirmed right now as we speak. And then the Xbox has been dry. Like, I don't like to use the term dry, but it is what it is. It's been dry for the first 6 months this year in terms of exclusives. They haven't really had any games besides Halo Wars 2 and that Voodoo Vince remaster or whatever it is. They haven't really brought anything to the table. And now you mean to tell me, I remember everybody saying, wait till E3, they're going to drop bombs and they're going to have bangers for this holiday season. You remember that, right? Yeah, everybody on the panel, like everyone on the chat, y'all remember when these Xbox guys said that they're going to have bangers this holiday season. They're going to kill it at E3 and they're going to have the best holiday lineup. And, with that, and I was, I thought to myself, maybe there's a possibility because if you're going to launch a new console, if you're launching new hardware, I know it's not a next generation console, it's a mid-gen upgrade. That's what people say. But that's a matter of an opinion. But it's new hardware. So obviously with new hardware, you need as much software as possible to actually justify the purchase. And I feel like Microsoft haven't done a great job trying to convince people to buy this product. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you're releasing Crackdown 3 November 7th, the same day the console launching, you're throwing it in there with the sharks because you got games like Call of Duty, you got the Maddens, you got the Assassin's Creeds, you got the FIFAs, you got Star Wars Battlefront, the Destinies. You threw it in there with the sharks, man. That is suicide right there, yo. I'm just saying.
Let me say this. There is something you are massively forgetting.
What's that?
Microsoft did kill it. They did an amazing job. But before you say anything else, they did an amazing job for Microsoft people. Xbox has been in drought for how long now? 6 months? 8 months?
Mm-hmm.
They have had nothing. So now they actually have things to look forward to. They have things that are going to be coming that gets to make them happy. If you own an Xbox only, let's not get that twisted. If you own an Xbox only, if you don't have a Switch or you don't have a PlayStation, you got some great games coming your way. But for people like us that have multiples, we don't need to buy them on Xbox because we can just get them on our primary system. Literally, we have our PS4 as our primary, and we had Xbox as our secondary, but that ended up fastly becoming the Switch. And we literally only have one game for it. And we still play the wifey plays the Switch more than she plays the Xbox, and we got that for her. Because Xbox doesn't have enough. And even with what they've released and what they've shown, they haven't shown enough to make anybody switch from PlayStation to Xbox. But of course, all over Twitter, all over YouTube, all over here, all over there, Disneyland, people are going to be yelling how great Xbox did their conference. Only because they haven't seen PlayStations yet. And even then, Xbox fanboys are going to be damage controlling. I guarantee it. I'll call it now. 10 minutes into PlayStation, check Twitter and see how many Xbox people are on there trying to bash it. I call it. Within the first 10 minutes, you are going to have nothing but Xbox. Oh, no, it's not as good as this. It's not as good as that. And all those people aren't going to realize every game they're saying it's not as good as is coming out on the PlayStation.
Well, I think the most damaging thing that's been done today is that thing that shout out to Press Start Kofi when he put out that black and white thing of 4K dynamic, what it versus native, and what you can call 4K, which is, and shout out to Kratos, because me and him for the last 6 weeks, we've been trying to tell people, look, this is what it is, and now that was extremely. I've said to people the Destiny reveal not being possibly 30 or being 60, that was a punch in their face. But now they got Crackdown hitting them at 30. They've got they've got the Metro Exodus that wasn't even running on the Xbox X, that was running on a PC. So they had one game announced yesterday that ran 4K 60. So I think hopefully this is a deaded conversation. They're not going to be able to do it. The CPU just wasn't strong enough. My understanding was it needs to be 3 to 3.2. So and it's not. So it is what it is.
Hey, Craig.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I just went and looked at it. I just went and looked at Kotaku, another Kotaku article. Remember what I said a couple podcasts back? Okay, 40 compute units, 36. You only got 4 more. You have 1172 megahertz. That's on like 100 something to 200 megahertz more. Basically, if you can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
Basically, if you look at the comparison between the Pro and the and the 1X, they are pretty damn similar. The 1X has it beat because it can move more memory per second. But again, are the developers going to use all of that? See, it's all about. See, the thing is, whenever you make a game that's cross-platform, you kind of have to design. I hate to say for the lowest build. You know what I'm saying? And you can kind of add on for the other one. But the thing is, you have to design for the lowest build, so it's called this thing called parity. If it was non-parity, maybe the Xbox One X could show what it could actually do. But because we got parity clauses and because we don't want this game to look any kind of way, and the 1S, and they're still selling the Xbox One S, the 1X is going to see a lot of downgrade because those games need to be able to run across all platform generations. The same thing with the PlayStation. Now, PlayStation ain't got that much of a problem because they started out the gate having power. You know what I'm saying? It's just that both of these things are using AMD Polaris chipsets. They're using both AMD Polaris, except one is an older card and the other one is a newer card that they massively modified up to 12 gigs, but you're using 3 of that memory to run Windows 10 because Windows is such a hoggy ass OS. That means there's really literally, I wouldn't say there is slight differences in the consoles, numbers wise. But as far as games, we may not see that much of a difference unless it's a first party exclusive and first party studios start cracking at both these things the way they should be. And also too, the price. $399, $350 versus $499. I think people are gonna take the $350 because most parents, when they buy game consoles on Christmas, they're trying to buy the best deal for their wallet. They're not trying to go out and buy some super machine that don't got no games. They're trying to get what's gonna be best for their wallet because they're the ones buying their kids just stuff for the holidays. You know what I'm saying?
See, here's the thing, guys, man. Do you know when Microsoft have left everybody starving for like 6 to 8 months, right? Everybody's been starving. It's been dry as hell. Everyone's been thirsty. Microsoft would just throw, they could throw shit to people and it would just taste good. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're that hungry and you throw shit at them, to them that would taste good and they'll be happy with it. That's the point I'm trying to make. And that's why, because they waited so long for some games and they're finally going to get 2 or 3 of them, they're going to think that's going to be the greatest holiday lineup for them. When Phil Spencer was saying we have the most diverse lineup or whatever like that, I just cringe every time he says something like that, One positive I'm gonna take from this E3. The one positive I'll take is that this, next year spring, they're not gonna be that dry because they are gonna have a few games. They're gonna have a few exclusives to release during that period. But as far as this holiday, man, it's looking pretty bad, yo.
This is what I gotta say about Phil Spencer. Okay. My man K, I ain't gonna give his whole name. My man, I'm gonna call it Special K. Special K, who I just met the other day, was in my man One Star's podcast, and he was
Yeah.
saying Phil Spencer's only been the head of Xbox probably for the past 3 years. So in 3 years' time, it's kind of tough to get stuff moving around because I'm pretty sure deep down Phil Spencer wants to bring out those things, but Satya Nadella, the money man, the head, the top G of Microsoft, he's kind of like, look. We really can't focus on that right now. We need to sell our Surface Pro tablets. We need to get ourselves out of the slump we was in because before then they were gonna have some other dude, but he wanted to sell Xbox. See, this is the thing. Xbox, in a way, is sort of not in a way. Xbox is kind of a burden to Microsoft, and they know that if they give Xbox to a company like Sega, that they're completely out of the games market. That Xbox Live is gonna go high wherever else. The thing
You know
is,
what? I hear you. I hear you. No, I hear you on that because like I do feel like Satya Nadella, the big dog. He be treating the Xbox division as the redheaded stepchild.
he
It is
does.
what it is, and it is pretty messed up. I know, but man, I lost my train of thought. Man, go on, carry on. What were you saying?
But as
As
I
soon
was
as it comes back, as soon as it comes back, I'll let you know.
yeah, as I was saying, Satya Nadella was kind of when he took over, he basically got rid of various attachments to Microsoft to streamline the process and try to make it more streamlined, right?
Mm.
Same thing with Sony. But see, Sony realized that hey, help make us who we are. We're gonna streamline. We're gonna get rid of our PC market. We're gonna keep our TV market. We're definitely gonna keep PlayStation, and we're still gonna do our tech stuff that we're not telling the public about on the side. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta look at the two companies. One company realizes that its gaming market, that its gaming sector, isn't doing as good as it was, and they're having. And why do you think they closed those studios down? No Phantom Dust, no Scalebound, no games that were promised way back when the thing first came out. No, none of that. Those studios are gone. They're dust now. So what we saw at that conference was probably the best they could give us because they knew that they were lacking. You know what I'm saying? And remember that dude that was up on the stage screaming in that Project Darwin game? I wanted to slap him, but I realized he had to do that because, hey,
See,
you got to find a way to get the fans excited some way, somehow, because
yeah,
you know that that you losing market share and that your big boss ain't really too happy about having Xbox. So you're gonna do everything you can to keep it in there so you don't look like the damn stepchild.
yeah, the redheaded stepchild. But here's the thing, though, man. If Microsoft didn't really, beat their chest and like brag about, everything about the Scorpio pre E3, you know what I'm saying? Then obviously coming into E3, we obviously we had a disappointed E3, but it wouldn't look as bad. But the fact that they were bragging and beating their chest, acting like they're gonna be bringing the bangers and that, and it didn't. It just makes it a whole lot more underwhelming.
Exactly.
And look, Phil Spencer, there's no excuse now. I remember Kratos and myself and Kratos, we had this conversation that look, Phil Spencer's been in charge since 2014, right? That's like over 3 years. He's been the top dog for 3 years at Xbox, the head of the division for 3 years, right? So obviously during those 3 years, you're gonna sign games, you're gonna do things, and I thought at this E3, whatever fruit he's been growing, we're gonna see that yesterday, and we didn't see anything.
No, we
And
didn't.
that's what makes it a whole lot more disappointing. And I know people are saying right now they got Gamescom and they got Tokyo Game Show, but you know,
Facts.
they're gonna keep saying that. If they don't deliver at Gamescom, they're gonna say Tokyo Game Show, Paris Games Week. Wait till next year. It's gonna keep going on and on and on. We're in the 4th year of this generation. This is like at the prime right now. You're at your prime at this generation. This console is at its prime, and this is where you have to start delivering.
Exactly. Like honestly, we have. Let me say this real quick. Honestly, I hate to say this. I know there's some Xbox fans probably in the chat gonna say, "Oh no, the fuck he didn't." Look, guys, just stop being fanboys and face this for what it is. Microsoft is sadly probably going the way of Sega. I hate to say that, but the way it's looking right now, it ain't too good for them. So take off the blinders, pack your shit, and realize that they might be going to a place you may not want them to. But if you really care about the platform, you can always tweet Microsoft and say, look, we don't like what you're doing. You need to do this. I'm not saying plead with them, but let them know that, hey, if you don't start making what we like to see, exclusives, getting good games deals, we're not going to buy your system. I guarantee you, Microsoft will jump out, start offering deals, cut the price of the Xbox One X, start making games because they don't want to lose their profit. And like my man One Stop always said, you put boots on the ground and you start hitting them in the wallet. You hit them in the wallet, they gonna really turn around and start doing what needs to be done. Services. We have the power, we just don't use it.
Do you know the people that these guys should really hit up though? And not only Phil and Aaron and guys like that, or Mikey Ybarra. Try to tweet guys like I think he has a Twitter account, Satya Nadella. You know, you got to tell this guy that, hey, give more funding to the Xbox division because it's turning into a sinking ship right now. You know, those are just facts.
Done, Wolf. I think if this doesn't do well, because the problem is that if Sony has two steps it can take. They can either do some things to the Pro and unleash a little more of its power. If they can get, like you were saying before, if they can get the cooling thing down pat, or they can just make a PlayStation 5. And like I said, I think that's what they're going to go with. And I think they're going to have the Ryzen CPU. I think it's going to be 8 to 10 T-flops. I mean, that's where I think they're going to go. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do it tonight, but they have that. And at that point, they could then turn around and sell it, you know, because the technology is there now through AMD, because AMD makes both, you know, doing all this. AMD, they can get the tech cheaper, put some of what they got in Scorpio in, and then just say, even if they, because Mark Cerny has publicly said he thinks 8 to 10 T-flops is what people really need. That way you can jailbreak these CPUs, you know, with the stronger CPU to get the 60 on a console. It's just a matter of, do they go that route? And if they do, it's the end. It will be the end of the Xbox brand, except for what's already on market right now. I just don't see Microsoft surviving this if it doesn't sell. So, you know, we're going to have to wait and see. I feel the same way.
I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see, because I don't see this thing. And I told people, I'll say it again, if you all just wait 4 to 6 months, this thing will drop in price. I can feel it. It's not, you know, it's going to drop in price. You know, even if it's $469.99 on a whatever, Best Buy has a sale, or somebody's going to have a sale, the Microsoft Store may have a sale. Go ahead and wait at least 90 days, see what the fail rate's going to be, because there's always a fail rate. And what if that vapor cooling system starts to act wrong? That's, you know, and let's have to wait and see. I'm happy they did something, but I think overall, with Jack Reacher out here telling me it was going to be 4K 60 and Vega Ryzen CPU, what I saw was a bunch of damn indies, which I don't have a problem with. But like Wolf said earlier, these cats were like ripping on the PlayStation for having indies. Now they're bragging about having indies, saying, "Oh well, if it counted for Sony, it's going to count for us too." You know, it's this. That's what I'm saying. They got to get the F out of here.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. You got indies. These are timed exclusive indies, man. These are console launch indies.
Yeah.
These indies are also coming to PlayStation, so you have nothing to brag about. It's great that you're showing it, but at least lock it down in some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
The only indie exclusive I've seen, maybe, I think, is Ori and the Blind Forest and Cuphead, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And that Ashen game, or whatever it's called.
I got one question. What does the console launch mean? Did the indie launch the day of the console, or that is just a time exclusive
It's
console
a little
launch?
window. It's a little window, and
Okay.
as soon as that window expires, then they could release it on other platforms.
Well,
Yeah,
they
they
just say time
really,
exclusives. Oh my god.
yeah, they what they did was cool with the English language because they twisted it where they weren't technically lying, but they were misleading. So what they're trying to do marketing wise, and Cycle here, he tell you
Wordplay, man. It's all wordplay.
Yeah, wordplay. When you see it there first, that's where you're going to anticipate it being. That's just the way our mind works. It's just like with, I guarantee you, after this E3 press conference, when you go see, you're going to see, if you go see the Spider-Man movie, you're going to see the Star Wars Battlefront trailer run at movies, and it's going to say PlayStation. Now it's going to be on the Xbox as well, and it very well may be 4K 60 and blah blah blah. But when people are just being inundated day after day, whether it be on YouTube or you turn on your TV or you hear it on the radio, that's the way you're going to perceive and consume that media. That's why. Honestly, that's why Cycle thinks there's a media bias. It's because of the way we consume media. Sony is everywhere. I mean, they're everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're going down the street, somebody's using a Sony Walkman or some type of device. It just they have product placement in movies. So, and what do you think you're going to see people wearing headphones in the Spider-Man movie? You're going to have Sony headsets on. So
one thing. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to chime in.
No, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look, one thing people have to realize, right? And this, you only get one chance to make a first impression, right? That goes for anything, even real life itself. And for Microsoft, they had that chance. This was their time to shine. This is where they had to show the bangers and show everybody that they're serious. They're still in the game, Although they've been struggling for the last 2 years. But they're ready to fight back. I'm not saying it's a real life console or anything, but at least show something. Like, show that you're competing, right? And you only have one chance to make that first impression. And the console's great. Don't get me wrong, beautiful console, but the software just didn't back it up. And that's why people left with that bad impression. That's why people left that E3 with a bad taste in their mouth.
Question. I have a quick question. What time is the Sony conference supposed to start? I cannot remember for the life of me.
9 Eastern.
So that'll be 8 o'clock in Illinois. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. What do you think about the backwards compatibility? I mean, that got the biggest ovation there. That got a standing ovation.
I would never knock backwards compatibility. That's a great feature. It's a fan service. And I praised it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's great that you get to play your OG Xbox games on your Xbox One. They're going to up the resolution on those games, and it's going to run really, really good. Like the frame rate, everything is going to run real good. Hopefully, they could patch in achievements and all that kind of stuff. So it'll motivate a lot more people to play those games. So it'll be real cool if they did that. I'm sure they're going to have them available like digital on the store. I'm sure you're going to get to put in your disc so you could download it digitally as well. It's a great thing. But, and again, it just goes back to what I've been saying before, even with the 360 backwards compatibility. One of the reasons why they're allowing this to go down is because of the lackluster of games.
They did that, right?
But on the flip side, it does make it truly an all-in-one system. If you could play the Xbox games from every Xbox generation on that system, it's a beautiful thing.
But
the
problem for that. For all the systems, though, right? I mean, Xbox One S will get the same, be able to do the same thing. Or will you have to get the Xbox 10? I'm gonna call to get.
It'll be all three because they said, and they've been saying it, that no matter what, everything that is playable on the Xbox One X will be playable on the Xbox One system in general, which is why they named it the Xbox One and then just gave it an S and gave it an X because it's still an Xbox One, just like the PlayStation Pro and the PlayStation. It's still an Xbox One. It's just a better reiteration of it. Because, I mean, didn't they make tweet saying this was what we should have done in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't disagree.
To touch on the Xbox games, the
But you're
whole
botting out. You're botting out real bad. So this.
And we're like,
Yeah, you're botting out. But I tell you what, I've been here almost 3 hours, so I'm gonna go ahead and start to close it down. But I want to thank everybody for joining me. Even Kratos, he had to run out and get his passport because you got to travel. So I got that. But I want to give a shout out to the panel. Thanks for joining me. Wolf, I appreciate you coming in. Hey, what time is the press conference over there where you are?
It's gonna be at 2 a.m. So I'm probably gonna sleep and set my alarm up, and that's what I'm gonna do.
I heard that.
Watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna go to bed and I'll just be talking about it. I'll be listening to everybody else because I gotta work Wednesday, tomorrow and Wednesday. But shout out to everybody for coming in and short notice and all, and appreciate it. And I'll start left to right. Go ahead and shout yourself out, Andrew. Left to right. Go ahead, brother.
It's Andrew Wilkins, the logic-minded gamer, I guess you should say. But anyway, man, nice talking to all y'all. Like Cycle Gamer, Kratos, Jesse, everybody that came through, Tyrone, Savage, everybody. Man, y'all enjoy y'all day. Enjoy this wonderful conference we're gonna see, man.
Yeah, the UB conference starts in like 45 minutes as well. So if anybody who's interested in Ubisoft's conference, so JD33, go ahead and shout yourself out, brother. You still with us? All right, we'll move on. Savage Uger, go ahead and shout yourself out, man.
Hi. Yeah, Savage, Yoger. Thanks for the support of everybody. And if you can, support Craig on Patreon.
Oh, yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, everybody hit me up. $1 is a chump change for a G. And go ahead there, Tyrone. Go ahead and shout yourself out real fast, my brother. Well, everybody's on mute. So, all right, well, General, it's down to you, my brother. You back in cleanup today. Go ahead and shout yourself out.
Yeah, man. Just you can find me on YouTube at Supersonic Wolf 4K. You can find me on Twitter at Supersonic Wolf. I'm a neutral gamer, like I call it real. I try to, bring logic to these people, but you could take it how you want it. If you want to like take it in and go with it, that's cool. If you want to be the complete opposite, that's on you. Yeah, man, like hit me up on PSN if you want. Iron_Wolf714. I'm always down to game. I do these open parties from time to time. Right now, I'm going to be doing an open party on Killing Floor 2. Trying to get the platinum for that too. But yeah, man, do subscribe. I do the Greatness Podcast with Kratos every Monday or Tuesday. Sometimes I'm also here on Craig's Corner from time to time. Do subscribe to my man Craig. He has great content. He has great insight when it comes down to gaming and the industry as a whole, man. So great dude, great content. And he just brings the facts, yo. So that's what's up.
Well, all righty, man. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for that, Wolf, and an open invitation. Come in anytime. I know there's a time difference, so anytime I'm off, I always try to go up here in the morning between 10 a.m. and 12, noon, Pacific or Eastern time here. But I appreciate everybody being here. This is Craig Harris. It's just overall, like I said, I just feel that it was underwhelming. I won't say disappointing because, like Wolf said, they did bring some games that people have been asking for, these type of games, but they were multi-plats. Even Anthem is a multi-plat. Now something's breaking and they're going to have 30 to 40 patches for games. So where's all this true 4K? So, I mean, again, I got a killer there. Hopefully this deads that conversation. The Scorpio will do a little bit more than the Pro. That's all this is going to come down to. So, but appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for coming out. We'll watch this press conference tonight, and I'll definitely be watching you guys hit you up on Twitter to see what you thought about the Sony press conference. So,
no doubt, man.
Yes, Craig Harris, black man in the green chair. Take it easy, guys. Peace.